How are you?
It's good to meet you. I'm great.
It's nice to meet you too.
How are you enjoying your stay in New Mexico so far?
I feel like life is about balance, and New Mexico has been a place of going to hot springs and yoga and doing all this health stuff, and also just like getting really drunk at an Applebee's with people from a show, and then you try to feed them mushrooms and shake up their marriage a little bit. You know, it's been a really interesting. It's been a time. It's been a week, and I feel like so much has happened.
I think I'm going to ask them to turn on the music a little bit.
Yeah.
yeah. I just got a little bit loud.
No, I understand.
Yeah.
It'll help a lot later.
Sorry, can you turn the music up a little bit more? Just a little bit, sorry. About an hour. I appreciate it. Yeah, that's perfect.
Sweet.
There we go.
Okay, great.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Yeah, sorry. If people come in, feel free to crank it back up. Yeah. That's better.
Yeah, that is way better.
That's way better.
Yeah,
okay.
yeah.
Well, I'm glad you're enjoying your time because you said you had came through here before 3 years ago, you said?
Yeah.
To do Revel?
Yeah, I've been here twice, actually. I'd love to remember the actual dates. But, yeah, I once came... I did Revel, and I don't know if you remember, but there's a bunch of mirrors on the stage.
There used to be.
Yeah, so that you could see, like, the drummers and stuff.
Oh, wait, the hanging ones. Right. Yeah.
And I had an opener, Jeff King, hilarious dude. Definitely look him up. And he doesn't have any legs because he lost them in Afghanistan.
Oh, shit.
So the mirrors that were on the stage were just like projecting his legs throughout the venue. And when I got on, I was like, man, it's really fucked up what you guys did to Jeff. Like, that's like not chill. But I had like 5 minutes on him at the time because we've been traveling so long together.
Yeah.
I was going on tour with someone that had to back out like 12 hours before we were leaving because I always try to take women with me because it's just more fun. You know, it's like a little vacation. Men are work. Like, I hate to say it, but you guys have so many feelings.
That's insane.
You think you don't, but then like you take one out of their comfort zone and like on the road, which is a very testy environment.
I was going to say define comfort zone because up until about 2 or 3 days ago, because my aunt loves me very much, I'm going on the road for the first time.
Oh, cool.
What's today? Tuesday. So in 2 days, I'm going up to Plano. And I told her, it's like, yeah, it's gonna be great. I get to do this really cool club in Plano. I'm gonna go there. I'm gonna drive 9.5 hours, do the show, probably hang out for a bit, go find a truck stop, crash out for a few hours, and just drive back. And she was like, hey, what's the demographic of Plano, Texas? I was like, what do you think it is? She goes, all right, little brown boy. That time I had a big old beard too.
Yeah.
It's like, you're not going to go sleep in your fucking truck. Here's $100. I was like, all right, thanks, man.
That's so nice.
So yeah, I was just like, no, I'm going to go crash in my truck for 4 hours and just drive back.
You'll be fine.
I think you're on the road with a bunch of prissies.
Yeah. Well, no, I mean, I've lived in all kinds of places, and I think what happens is it's like, for men at least, I don't know what it's like for men, but for women, it's like we're on this like amazing vacation, like girls doing girl things, you know, like it's really fun. And then a man, it's like, what are you going to do with your day so that we don't have to hang out? You know what I mean? Like, do you have like hobbies or some shit? And then he just doesn't know what to do with himself. And then I don't know. It just always feels like work. But Jeff was very fun. Like, I love traveling with Jeff. And it was funny because I called him after someone had flaked. And I was like, hey, can you get in the car for like 3 weeks? And he was like, well, I have like 3 different shows. I was like, I have 18 shows in 17 days, Jeff. Get in the car, you know, like, just because that's like always been my strategy with comedy, because I don't like having other jobs. So
Yeah.
I'll do whatever. Like, people are always like, you know, try to make yourself more scarce, you know, make them want you, like, say no to shit. And I'm like, no, like, I did a show with 8 people last night. I made $500. Like, I'm going to say yes to anywhere that will let me sell.
Well, I was going to say,
anything.
I feel like there's such a small population of comedians that have that privilege, though. Like to make yourself scarce.
Oh yeah, exactly.
Because that's the same mindset as like, oh, I just send out a tweet and everybody shows up.
If I could do that, I'd be doing coordinates all the time. I'd be like, I'm at these coordinates. My bus is right here. Set up my own lights. Because like, I mean, that was the goal for a while. I was just trying not to have a boss. So I had it in my head that I had to create stages at music festivals to have my own like thing and never have to worry about anybody.
And like Burning Man and shit, right?
Yeah,
that's insane.
It just went down a whole different path.
This episode of the podcast is brought to you by the amazing people over at Chop Chili. Guys, this is personally my favorite chili brand here in the state of New Mexico, and you can find them online at chopchilico.com. You can also find them all across the state of New Mexico at Sprouts, Albertsons, Smith's, and a bunch of other stores in Albuquerque, Santa Fe, Las Cruces. I believe they're even down in El Paso now. They sell red and green chili, of course. My personal favorite is this blend of red and green, and they also sell online frozen bags of green chili. So again, go to chopchilico.com to get yourself some amazing chili today. Now back to the podcast.
You have one of my favorite. I don't know if you still do the joke anymore, so I'm not. I mean, it was on Kill Tony.
Yeah.
But the joke about period sex in the desert.
That's so funny.
Perfect. It's so simple, but it paints a perfect picture of what's because I've never been to Burning Man.
Yeah.
But like what the outside looking in
It's
thinks
so hard
Burning
to
Man is.
It's so hard to write something to replace that. I usually don't say it except for at Burning Man now because I'm like, everybody's seen it.
Right.
But there is one joke that I did do on Kill Tony that I still do. And it's because I wrote it for a funeral. And then when I talk about that funeral, I tell the joke again. And I'm like, that's right. I wrote that joke for a funeral. Just in case anyone has seen it. I'm like, this is important.
Right.
That you know that where this came from. At least to me. Like, maybe nobody cares. But I'm like, this is important to me.
Yeah, it's all right. I'm not gonna say who, but I've seen some major individuals from Kill Tony as they come through the city, and they do their fucking shit from Kill Tony on the road. So who gives a fuck?
Well, I bet it's hard, like doing a different minute. Because for me, I don't know if you saw the recent one where it went bad.
Yeah, I saw that.
Well, like,
shit happens. What are you gonna do?
Whatever. I don't. Honestly, like just thinking about it makes me laugh so much that I'm like, that's funny. But it's like right before I got on stage, obviously I wasn't doing very well. My friend just passed away, but I had like 4 minutes to choose from, and then got into my head that something happened backstage where I was just going to talk about that. And then like I got on there and I was like, why did I do the dirty minute? And I was like, I know they weren't going to like, you know what I mean? Like this, it's such an existential crisis about like what you're going to put into it.
Were you a fan of, before we get into this, I just want to give a quick shout out to the Block for letting us shoot here. Thank you very much. This is where we do.
Thank you so much, guys. They had to turn down the music for us.
Yeah, they're the shit. This place is awesome.
People.
This is, it's up in Bernalillo. This is where we do our comedy nights on Tuesdays, me and AJ. He'll be here at some point. But big shout out to the Block for letting us do this.
Yeah, it's a very fun train container center. It looks like the outside of a Best Buy when they all run down, and it's very fun. It's very fun.
Very nice couches.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
But so, were you a fan, or did you watch Kill Tony at all before you went up? Because what I'm curious about is, at the risk of my question sounding generic, I'm curious because me and AJ, we're going out to Austin in 2 weeks. And we're going to be there for a week. He's got, I think, 5 shows, and I've got 4. Very excited.
Yeah.
And
I hope I'll hook you up with some more, too.
Oh, I appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you. And, because I'm a huge fan of Kill Tony. I watch that's my morning ritual at work is every Tuesday I throw it on and watch it. And because seeing something so many times and then actually getting out there and doing it, I'd imagine has to be kind of like, maybe existential is the right word, but like, were you a fan of Kill Tony? Were you like a viewer beforehand?
Kind of. Okay, so watching Kill Tony gave me a lot of anxiety because like watching people bomb in person is funny, but watching them bomb online is like a lot. So I did like the clips and stuff. And I've been doing comedy for almost a decade. Like I've tried to go out to Kill Tony when it was touring, like years ago. Okay. I've always like been a fan of the culture. I like the comics to do. I like Tony's comedy. I like roast jokes. I like doing shit like that. So I am a fan of it, but can I watch an episode in its entirety without freaking out? I don't know. Like it's just not so. It's like I see stand up every single night live, and I like sometimes going, like watching the worst of it, and someone gets on stage and they're like, I can't do this anymore. Like it makes me feel good, and I don't know what that says about me as a person, but I love it, but watching it on
Wait, you like
YouTube-
watching stand-up or you like watching people bomb?
both.
Okay, fair enough.
I like watching people do well. I like watching people progress. I like going back to town, seeing people get better. I like watching the crazy neighborhood person that shouldn't be doing it. Like I just enjoy the subculture of weirdness that goes on with that. And with that being said, like, so you've never been there before, right?
I've been to Austin once.
Nice. Well, to try to get on Kill Tone.
No, because I fucked up the last time that I went, and I was like, because I based my whole trip around like when my friend was free, so I could crash at their place, and then when I could get a ticket to the mothership. Because it's still selling out like crazy, but especially back then, a year ago, it was impossible. And I saw a showcase that still had tickets, and I was like, oh, this is gonna be great. How is there still tickets for this one show? Turns out that was the week that all the heavy hitters were out at LA. Excuse me. Out at LA doing the Netflix festival, so there was no Kill Tony, and I was like, fuck, that sucks.
Well, the funny part is like you see people that get on all the time that are like, I didn't know I was gonna be here, and they're like crazy high, and you're like, how did you not know? But like the bar that they're at, where all the people are waiting, they're all getting fucked up.
Yeah,
like,
that's got to be
it
like
is wild,
like a mental asylum from the 50s.
I mean,
in that place,
it's kind of cool because like you meet a lot of people that.
Is it tense in there?
No, I mean they've switched the venue a lot. Some of them are more tense than the others, but no, it's never really. It's like an atmosphere where everyone is getting absolutely lit because they're nervous.
Right.
You know, like after my first appearance, I had to touch everyone's like sweaty hands afterwards because they're like, "What's up?" I'm like, "Come on, man, dab," because it's just. And it's not like I care, but it's just like, whoa, like, why is everyone's hands so sweaty? And then you're like, oh, everyone's like crazy nervous and just getting like insanely high outside.
Yeah.
And you're just like, oh, yeah, that's fine. You probably won't get on. You'll be good. And then they call their name and you could see the like blood leave their face. And that's a good time too, you know?
That's funny. Yeah.
Like, I think the second time I got on, I probably shouldn't have left the house that day. I was like so crazy, but I was like, oh, it'll be fun to like just go see everybody and like get out of the house one day. Like it'll be cool.
Yeah. Yeah, because like I'll skip through it every now and again if the person's like really bombing. The only time I like, it's not even liking watching them bomb. I like it when someone, again, that's not the right word. I get a weird adrenaline rush when I'm on a show and the person right before me bombs. Because then it's like, oh, fuck. You're already passable as a comedian. You're not the best. You're not the worst, but you're not the best. Now you really got to fucking work. You got to work hard. And,
yeah.
and I like that adrenaline rush. But otherwise.
But you can't see them before you.
I'm saying like at a regular. I'm saying like a regular, a regular like show.
Oh yeah. I mean, well, it's always nice when you get to make fun of the person. I always want people to do their absolute best to challenge me. But
yeah, exactly. It's a different kind of challenge too.
And if they do bad, like just shitting on that. It's like if everyone hates you, you just shit on yourself, and then we're all in agreement now, and we're all on the same side. I tell people all the time, they're like, I just don't know, like if I can be that good or if I can do this room. I was like, just write down a bunch of roach jokes for yourself, and then when things don't go well, hit them. Because everyone will be like, I hate you too. You're right. We're friends again.
So what got you into stand-up in the first place?
Oh, I always wanted to do it. I saw Mitch Hedberg when I was like 14. And I was like, I want to do this, Dad. And my dad was like, you know, it's not all about the jokes, Trishy. Like, it's also about delivery. Meanwhile, like, Mitch is, like, on stage, like, barely moving. So I always thought that was pretty funny. But it was just, like, one of those, like, everything's going terrible in my life. I'm just going to do the thing I really want to do. And I started in Vegas.
Okay, because you were talking before we started, and you said you had originally grown up in between Baltimore and D.C., right? And D.C.'s, from what I understand, is a pretty decent stand-up town.
Oh, yeah. I have done comedy there and in Baltimore a lot since then. I did live there for, like, periods of time in that. I did start in Vegas, and then I went to Asia. And that, like, kind of, like, sparked the whole, like, this might work, you know? Because, like, people there care no matter what.
What do you mean?
In Asia, like, well, you don't get a lot of chances to see English stand-up.
So you're kind of like a...
I got a bunch of time I did not deserve, and I became, like, kind of a staple in a community I didn't deserve to be in.
Like, I don't want to say you were a novelty, because I think that kind of diminishes it, but you were like, you're like rare. Like you were scarce.
Totally scarce.
So everyone wanted to see you,
For sure.
and there's like an inherent value placed upon like an English speaking comic. Because where in Asia were you?
I was in Thailand for most of it, but I did like Vietnam, Cambodia,
Oh shit.
Tokyo. Yeah.
How old were you back then?
25, 24.
How'd you find yourself out there?
Well, I do a bunch of jokes about killing myself in Tokyo, but I was just kind of like
Oh yeah.
wandering.
It's
Yeah.
honorable.
Yeah. I still do that. I actually still do that bit because there's so much more to it. You know what I mean? And I feel like people hear it and they're surprised, like, oh, you're pulling that out. But then I do this whole like samurai thing. I have all these bits about what happened after people saw me do that in Tokyo. And I've actually like a lot lately been like, I need to record a special to get rid of all this stuff. Because I definitely have like over an hour. Like I think I'm at like an hour 20 and I'm like, I just need to finish the next hour and like actually retire these things instead of like, oh, I might have saw that. I don't know. I want them to be presented in the way that I wrote them. Like I'm so like psycho
Right.
about it. I'm like, I want them to be preserved in the way that I wrote them.
That's the kind of way. That's the way you kind of need to be, though, right?
Yeah.
You need to be precious over what you're creating. You need to be precious over like it's because it's intangibles, it's words, but it's like your baby. It's like
Yeah.
your thing you've been nurturing for years and years and years. So to be able to like encapsulate it properly and archive it properly, and I totally get it.
How'd you get into stand-up?
I've been like you were saying, like the first comedian that I saw that kind of really like stuck with me, oddly enough, was Jeff Dunham. Because my friends in middle
Cool.
school, my friends in
Yeah.
middle school showed me like YouTube clips, and I was like, that's fucking hilarious.
Yeah.
And, very, very strict Christian household that I grew up in, and my mom certainly was not a fan of me watching anything like R-rated or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I was like, it's this guy with puppets. Can I have the DVD? It's $5. And she was like, yeah, it can't be that bad. And it was the one.
It's terrible. Yeah.
Yes, when he was still doing Sweet Daddy D. And
Yeah.
have you ever seen that?
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So she bought me that, and that blew my fucking mind. And then in high school,
Did you ever get a puppet?
No. I was just a huge fan, and then like in high school, I started watching like Bill Burr, and actually, I should say too, in middle school, I listened to Anthony Jeselnik's Caligula, and that fucking blew my mind.
Genius. Yeah.
Yeah, because I was like, how is this guy like? And it's funny because like, especially at the time, I only understood like half his jokes, and then as I grew up, I was like, holy fuck, this is horrible. Like
Yeah.
it's great, but it's horrible.
And he's got this rare thing where, because I see people all the time like, you're funny, but you don't like move a lot. So like after 10 minutes, as someone with a very small attention span, I get bored, you know? But Jeselnik is so good at writing that he can literally just stand. Like there's not a lot of people that can just do that.
He does that really well, and him and Jim Jeffries have this thing where, because a lot of comics will hold the mic like that or like kind of close to their face, but they'll hold the mic like down here.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And they still have like a projection on their voice where like it still carries. Like I think that's insane. I don't know
Yeah.
why. Like Jim Jeffries, he it wasn't officially advertised, but like everyone found out real quick that he was doing a drop-in set down at Dry Heat,
No
this
shit.
local club we had down here.
I know. I messaged her and they
And-
said they stopped in March, and I was like,
Yeah. Sarah and Kelly moved out to New York.
okay, good. Well, I'm glad
yeah.
it wasn't, for any other reason.
Yeah, well,
Who knows? But they did amazing.
yeah, they
I
did
love their
They
club.
did great. They did. I will say with great confidence that they did amazing with what they had. I think they did the best with what they some of the best of what they had.
No,
for
their
sure.
their place was great.
And but yeah, Jim Jeffries came twice, and because he was shooting a movie in town, and yeah, watching that dude, like when he got like into his jokes, he probably didn't even need a microphone because he was like holding it like down here at one point.
Yeah.
But you could still like hear it. Was fucking incredible. But anyway, so yeah, like in high school, I got into him and like Bill Burr and Tom Segura and Rogan and all those guys.
Yeah.
But and Chappelle, like when I was in middle school, my uncle showed me Dave Chappelle, the Chappelle Show, and that blew my fucking mind.
Obviously.
'Cause, like, and that
I
got-
like what you said about the mic though, because I like pride myself on how many horrible shows I've done that I know, like based on hearing it, where to hold it. Like if it's got a
Okay.
little reverb, you put it under your chin. You know, like if it's like really quiet, it's really close, and if it's really like, I did this show the other night that was just like, does anyone hear how loud this is? And then I was like holding it like so far away, Because when you're up there, you don't. If it's behind you, it sounds weird. You know what I mean? But if it's in front of you,
Right.
you don't hear it as much. So you're like, okay, I don't want to blow anybody's. And there's a lot of sets I do where I'm screaming, just like certain jokes, you know, and you're like holding it very far
Right.
away.
That's interesting. I've never really, the only time I've ever thought about, and the only reason I do think about it now is through like producing shows, but like, cause you don't want people's ears to be blown out, but you do want the audio to be kind of overpowering and overcumbering to them, so that they're discouraged from talking to each other.
Yeah.
They're discouraged from having these bullshit.
I mean,
side
stand-up's been
conversations
around
and-
for a long time. You know what I mean? So, like, everyone's figured out that the best place to have it is in a basement with low ceilings so that the sound of laughter just carries. If one person laughs, it sounds like the whole room is. And then you have, like, slightly uncomfortable chairs. You don't want to get too comfortable because then you're not really paying attention. And then they're, like, theater style, very packed in together. And every step you get away from that, I feel like it's harder. But, I mean, I don't know. I've done it on a dirt mound in India. I just don't give a shit anymore. Like, I don't care. I read the Malcolm Gladwell book where you, like, need 10,000 hours. And I was like, I'm getting those 10,000 hours.
Yeah.
And,
Well, how much of that is 10,000 hours? Because there's practice makes perfect, but then, like, if you're practicing the wrong shit, you're not getting anywhere. It's like perfect practice makes perfect.
I mean, yeah, you got to challenge yourself. You know, he did like recant say that like you need challenge in those hours. I wouldn't call all of it stand up either because I'm a firm believer that you can only practice stand up on stage. But I was doing festivals for a while where people are just kind of passing through and you just roast everybody and tell them what they look like on ketamine and they think it's hilarious. And it's just like you practice in any way that you can, but at the end of the day, like going to one 5-minute open mic where no one listens and it's not the kind of feedback that really helps. Is it helping? I don't know. I love it. I'm going to do it. I'm going to go get trash at that dive bar because that's who I am as a person. But.
See, I was at an open mic last Wednesday, and it was just bad. Like it's a pretty fun one to do, but that one was it was horrible. And I was talking to my buddies. We were waiting to go up, and we had a short version of that conversation. Like, is this worth it? And because I go back and forth on that too, because it's like, well, you need the time, and you need some kind of. Because I've come to realize, and maybe there's a little bit of copium baked into this, but like obviously, if you get laughs at an open mic, it's a good thing. Like usually, like you want to get laughs, but then also it's like you're practicing the material, you're hearing how if you're like, because I try to record everything that I do, so it's like how does it sound coming out of my mouth? How does it feel coming out? Like does it feel natural? Is the strain of consciousness proper? Like does it make sense what you're saying? And like are you even setting yourself up for laughs, or is it just this bullshit train of thought that goes nowhere and makes no sense and yada yada yada? But then one of my buddies, great comedian Trip. He goes up there and then he just fucking destroys and resets the whole mic to be good again. And it's like, oh, that's where you get something out of it. And he spent like maybe 45 seconds, a minute, just like shitting on everyone and how horrible this mic was.
That's what I'm saying. If everyone hates it, you got to make fun of what everyone hates because then they're like, we agree with you. We're back on your side.
Yeah.
I love doing like 1 a.m. rogue sets. Like I ran a show on 6th Street in Austin for a while, and they were like, okay, so you want like an hour block, we'll give you this much money. I was like, no. I want programming for the rest of the night, and I want a piece of the bar. And they were like, okay. So I had this thing called open mic comedy bingo where I would like write all the things that could possibly happen on it, and I made the middle square full on mental breakdown because it always hits. And I was like, I will keep people here. Yeah, for real. I will keep people here no matter what. So if all the open micers were done at 1, I would go on stage till 2 a.m. because I was like, I will keep you drinking. I will make this money. And I like by that point, I'm probably already lit anyway because I spent the whole time outside just I'm like insanely good at barking people into shows because I'll see a group of people on 6th Street and I'm like, who's the decision maker here? You know, like just like.
And if it's a bunch of drunk college age guys, they're like, no, I make the decisions.
Yeah, exactly. And I'm like, all right, big boy, get in there. You know, like. And like I was just so good. Like this one time, this girl was like, "We're going to an escape room." I was like, "I'll lock the fucking doors right now. I don't give a shit." And they came. They canceled their tickets again. They were like, "How can we say no to that?" I was like, "I know." And like, I mean, I used to work at a comedy club in Bangkok where I had to like try to get people in. And I've traveled a lot, and I know like some words in a bunch of different languages. So if someone tried to be like, I don't speak English in that language, I would yell at them in their language. And I like got so good at like certain phrases just to be like, I was like, I speak Creole. I was like, bitch, you think I don't know French? And I was like, dude, you think I don't know the origins of that? And I was actually like wrong a little bit, but it got him in, you know?
That is the craziest reverse psychology I've ever heard.
Yeah.
That's fucking hilarious. Yeah. What were we? Oh yeah. So yeah, but like getting into stand up, because I originally wanted to get into like making movies and writing movies, and I still kind of do, but I looked at stand up as like the thing I'll just enjoy like from afar, because it's like, okay, that's like I'm already not musically talented, so I'm not or inclined, so I'm not going to do that. And with stand-up, it's like, oh, well, that's like music but harder, because it's just like you and a microphone and figure it out. And that's insane. I'm not touching that. That's bullshit. And I started doing the podcast, and I went to, actually at Revel, I went to one of the roast battles, and I was like, oh, fuck, we have local comedy. And some of these guys are like, some of them fucking suck, but like some of them are really good. So I got a few of them on the podcast, and like, yeah, we have open mics. And I was like, okay. So like a psychopath, I went and watched a couple open mics, and I was like, God.
Did you stay the whole time?
Yeah. Yeah.
That's what if I go up late, I'm like, you want to know what a psychopath looks like? I'm like, the guy who stayed here the whole time.
But yeah, but like the mics here are only like an hour, maybe an hour 20, as compared to like, you know, Austin, where there's hours and hours and hours on end.
Yeah.
And so I was like, yeah, some of these guys are fucking insane. And it clicked that like, oh, not all stand up is like Netflix specials and like Comedy Central specials and HBO specials, and it's these people banging their head against the wall for years trying to figure out what works and then moving on. And so I went to an open mic. Me and my girl went to an open mic to watch, and because I got her into comedy and her into stand up, and a few of my friends that are comedians, they had a few in them, and they came up to me after the mic, and they're like, "You're doing fucking stand up next week," and I was like, "I don't have 5 minutes. No, the fuck I'm not. We don't care if you have 20 seconds. You've been coming for like a month just watching like an idiot. You're gonna fucking." And I did it, and I bombed, and it was horrible. But one of my same friends that told me to go, she was like, "Hey, you're actually really good on stage. Like, your writing sucks. You have no idea how to write jokes, but that'll come. But your stage presence is really good. I have a show in a month. Do you want to do 5 minutes?" And I was like, "Sure." I don't even know what that means, but sure. And then I did that.
That was very nice of them.
It was very nice and unwarranted. And
Yeah.
like, she was drunk when she asked me to do that. She was drunk both times.
That's something I love about comedy too, is like we're encouraging, you know, even though it's like the most depressing job you could probably ever have, you know, like we're so encouraged. Like I've talked to so many musicians, because I've written a lot of songs and I've sold some to friends, and I'll be like, oh, I have this idea for a song, blah, blah, blah. And they'll be like, yeah, I'll take a few lines, blah, blah. But no one's ever like, you should try it.
Right.
You know, like, you should get it. Like, they're like so like protective. Even people in improv are like, I don't know if you could do it. You know,
Yeah, but improv's kind of gay.
I know. That's like,
it's kinda gay.
Stand-ups hate improv. But it's so funny because like every stand-up I've ever met is like, yeah, just do it. Just do it. Just rip the Band-Aid. Like, it's not that hard.
Because it's low risk. It's
Yeah.
like, I mean,
I don't know.
not extremely low risk, but if you have 5 minutes at an open mic and you go bomb, nobody gives a fuck.
You know-
you think people care.
Somebody asked me
But-
today, they were like, do you think I'd be doing good at stand-up? And I was like, I think that anybody who puts enough time into anything could be good at anything. And they were like, do you think I'm funny? And I was like, do I think you're funny? Yes. Do I think you'd be good at stand-up? Yes. Do I think that you'll put the amount of time that it takes to be good into stand-up? No.
Right.
I just don't. You have a lot of
Yeah.
plates. You have a lot of things going on. You're going to spend every night at a freaking dive bar and work on your dick jokes until you're comfortable enough to talk about something real? Like, no.
So fucking, oh my God.
It's so true, though, because everyone's like, you're so... they'll be like, women are so gross, or the men only talk about dicks, but it's really like, you just started. That's the funniest thing you can think of. I get it. You know, like, all of my first jokes are disgusting.
Yeah.
You know, but that's what I think is funny. Would I write that kind of joke now? No, I think I'm better than that.
Well, there's also this issue of like, not, I'd say maybe, at least in my experience, the little experience that I have, 60% of the rooms that I've done, including this one, like, well, not maybe, definitely a part of it is that I'm still learning how to write jokes, like longer jokes and better jokes in a better and more eloquent and just better way in general. But like, just the low IQ jokes work.
Yeah.
They just work.
Yeah.
And I don't. I mean, it's like I get it.
But you've
it's-
only done stand up in New Mexico, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes.
So like
Yeah.
what you'll find is like I've you know, I've done it all over the world. I make most of my money doing smaller towns. You know, like going to Taos, I cleared $1,000. That's crazy. You know what I mean? Like off merch alone, of course.
Yeah.
Get merch. Always get merch. But what you'll find is that different things work in different places, right? That's just always going to be true. And what you're going to find out is that once people trust you, because like I do a lot of dark jokes, and I go to a lot of small town conservative, doesn't like people like me, and I don't care. I don't care what.
Why do you think that is? People like you, and people don't like people like you. What do you mean?
I mean, like a small town conservative person probably won't purposely go to a ladies' comedy show where she's wearing like a choker and has green hair in the poster. You know what I mean?
Okay,
Like,
yeah, I
it's
get
just,
you. Yeah.
It's not like I stopped using those headshots, but that's not the point. You know, like it's just not their like forte, but because nothing's going on, it's probably their local bar. It might be open the latest. You know, they go for whatever reason, you know, or
Right.
maybe they heard this chick comes, she'll make fun of you if you try to talk to her. And I have that reputation. So like there's been a lot of small towns where like someone has called me and been like, I heard like you do this. And I don't like. We don't think we can get this bar to care. And like, we heard this is what you do, which is what it is absolutely insane that someone from Wrightsville Beach, North Carolina, called me to say that.
What were they hearing that you did?
Well, okay, so for this particular person, they were like, "There's a rowdy bar. The owner wants comedy," and I was like, "Why? He already has business." Like, usually when I approach someone in a small town about doing a show, I'm like, "What's your slowest night? Let's change that." You know,
Right.
like.
Yeah.
So I was like, why does he care? They're like, I don't know. The owner loves comedy, but like, I heard you've done like really rowdy rooms and like, you'll just roast people till they shut up. And I was like, yeah, for sure. And they're like, we'll give you $500. I was like, fuck yeah. You know, like I'll be there, you know?
Yeah.
And they did. They came through and I like went on, all these people went on first and then I went on and I just shit on everyone till they stopped talking. And I got the whole room quiet. The guy was like, you did it. Give me a couple $100 extra. He was like so pleased. And I was like, this doesn't make you any money. Like you're just crazy about comedy and you just like want it. I don't remember what I started with. I feel like I had a serious point before that, but
Just
on this.
what about like towns that might not like
oh
you.
yeah. So the point
or-
of that is that what you're going to find is that all of the jokes that you want to do, like maybe there's a more niche crowd, like maybe you need to be going to Comic-Con. Maybe they're good at corporate events that actually pay money. Maybe they're too far over people's heads. But what you're going to find is that in every single town and every single stage that you do, you just need to build trust. And that's it. Like as soon as you find what that town likes and you get them going for like 10 minutes, then, because I do a lot of dark jokes, you know what I mean? Like you can't come, I tell people all the time, I'm like, your dark joke is hilarious, but you can't come out of the gate swinging.
Right.
You know, you got to build trust with these people. You got to let them know that no matter where you're going, it's always going to go to a fun place and you're not just there like doing it. So I think like even if you have like really smart jokes or really weird jokes or really out there things, as long as you gain the trust first, they're going to be cool with it.
So do you, because obviously a lot of the actual execution of the joke is the delivery and the cadence and the flexing of your voice and the economy of words and yada, yada, yada. But like, how do you make the darker stuff more palatable? That's certainly my sense of humor as well. Outside of is there more to it outside of building trust and all that? Because the reason I ask is like I have a joke that it's involving Christianity and suicide, and some rooms it works great, and in other rooms and it's weird because I've done it for like conservative crowds and it's worked. I've done it for conservative crowds and it's bombed. And
What
same
was the
thing for
length of
liberal.
your set? Did that vary with?
Yeah, in total, I typically do 8 to 12 minutes.
Okay.
Yeah,
Do you do it at the end of the set?
middle to end. Yeah,
Middle to end? Every
yeah.
time?
Yeah,
Okay.
I'll do it tonight.
What about the lights? I find that's a problem sometimes. Because if the room is well lit, people won't laugh because they're scared of the judgment.
Right.
They can still think it's
Okay,
funny,
That's fair.
but they might be like, who's watching me right now?
Right.
You know, like that's why I was telling you earlier before we started, I bring my own lights because I'm like, I do a lot of breweries, right? I make good money. You know what I mean? Like I'm
Yeah.
fine just based off merch alone, you know? So like I'll do anything. And like my luck changes every day. Like sometimes, sure, you sell like $100 worth of shit. And then sometimes like you have a merch line and someone buys a painting for an unreal amount of money. And like, You know what I mean? Like, it's not even an unreal amount. Like, I go down pretty low if I don't have prints. And I'm just like, listen, I could get a special or die, and this is going to be worth a lot. Like, this is a good investment. But I just think there's a lot of factors, you know? Like, I think the lighting is a huge thing. Doing it at the end of your set, building trust with these people. Also, the confidence level that you have. Are you asking them if it's funny? Are you worried about saying that? Is it showing? Or are you telling them that it's funny and being like, if you don't laugh at this, that maybe you're fucked up, you know? Like, it's the confidence level of being like, I think this is hilarious. It's like RuPaul says, as long as you're having fun, everybody's having fun. You can say the darkest shit in the world, but if you're like giggling, having a good time, everyone's gonna be like, you kill. Even if no one's laughed, they're like, wow, you really know what you're doing. You know what I mean? Like, you have to believe in that. Even if it doesn't work, it's still hilarious. And if you come on with that confidence, unless you come out of the gate being like, this is a rape joke, you know what I mean? Like, you got to build trust, have confidence, and tell them that it's funny.
Yeah, that makes a lot of sense.
And also, it really helps if the lights are turned down.
Yeah, no, and that's we have another room, me and AJ downtown at Safe House, and it's a small like little distillery.
Is it Soft House?
Huh?
Is it Soft House or Safe House?
Safe House.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just know a lot of German places called.
Oh,
Soft
okay.
House.
Yeah, no, it's Safe House, and
that's cool.
Yeah,
Because
it used to be an old bank.
Oh, okay.
And it's funny because like one of the
I was like, is it? There's bar there. I don't know.
Yeah, right. Like, cause like in the way you get to the back, like after the distilleries,
wait, this is terrible. But how many like DV women accidentally show up there because Google Maps said, you know?
Well, there's clearly a lot of DV women that drink there. So.
They're like, well, I came for one thing, but I got another, and it's kind of working out.
I'll forget about it for the next 3 hours. But it's funny because like the way you get to the back where they have like all the original distillery stuff and all of that, they still have the original bank vault, like heavy door and shit. It's super cool. Anyway, point is we started doing shows there. And we didn't know what the fuck we were doing. We were like, yeah, let's just do a fucking show, whatever. And then after the first show, I was like, okay, we need to change some things. Like, we need to turn down the lights a little bit. We need to kill the fucking TV. All right? We need to, like, do it. And they let us fuck around. They let us, like, change the table setup, and they let us change everything out. So now it runs fucking great. I bring that light. I forgot to, I totally spaced on bringing it tonight, but I have, like, a spotlight attachment that I'll put on there that shines. And
it's okay. I forgot mine, too.
And, like, the difference in shows just works fucking amazing.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
No, like, people really I actually know comics. Pete Gercio, he is an amazing comic out of LA, and he has a layout that he gives to bars.
Oh, shit. Okay.
Yeah. So he has like a preferred where the lights are, preferred lighting stand, preferred decimal level. This dude is like type A, and his act is like really good, and you can tell that he's like super type A. And he has like a preferred way that the chairs are. Like he'll look at your
science.
Yeah. No, he's really got a science on it, and it's like pretty cute. Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah.
Huh.
He actually runs a platform for comics to sell tickets on.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'd love to figure that or get that from you.
Just want to plug.
Yeah. No, that'd
Pete
be. What's it called? Yeah. What's the platform?
I don't
called?
remember.
Oh fuck. Okay. Well.
Find Pete Gercio on the internet, and he'll tell you.
So what? Okay. So what? Why did you find yourself in Asia, and for how long were you out there for?
Okay, the first time I was supposed to be there for a month. I stayed for 10 months. And then the second time I was supposed to be there for a week. I stayed for a year and a half.
Jesus.
Well, it was the pandemic. And that got wild. I'm writing a book about it right now. And then the third time, which was this year, I was supposed to stay for 26 days. I stayed for 35.
You suck at planning.
Well, it's so wonderful there, you know? Like, it's so wonderful. And you're just like, why would I ever, like, why did I not fake my death and stay here? Like, and I think what always happens is, like, things are going so well there, and then you kind of, like, peak, and then all your friends are like, we wish we could get visas to the U.S. to do stand-up, and you're like, I should probably leave this island of paradise.
So are you
try to do something with myself?
Before we get like further into that, were you just like because you mentioned on that first go Tony you're doing like a lot of nomadic type stuff. Mm-hmm. Just like you've never been like locked down to a place, like no rent, no mortgage.
Okay. So I've been nomadic for 8 years.
Okay.
When it first started, I would bartend in Vegas or Nashville, and I would have rent there. I'd work there for like 6 months most at a time to make money. And then I would just like fuck off and do whatever I wanted. And when I first started, it was more like I was one of those kids that was pumped full of Adderall at like an unreal young age, right? Were you? Is that how you're
Fuck no. Thank God I wasn't. I mean, if I grew up today, I probably would be.
Yeah.
For sure. Because like I was like a quiet kid until I wasn't. You know, well, I always had like a really loud voice, but I was always like kind of like, again, very
Well,
quiet.
we grew up in that era. Like, sorry to assume your age.
Yeah.
We look similar.
Yeah. 'Cause how old are you?
Like, I'm going to tell people that I don't know fucking... No, I'm just kidding. I'm 32 years old.
Oh, okay. So four. I can't do math. 4 years older than me?
Yeah. No, I don't care about age at all. I think people are nuts for that. Like,
Yeah.
what it's like, I'm not getting anything injected into my face that's poison to make myself look like I'm not dying. But I'll get lasered and fucking just. I do a lot of like facial stuff. I'll share my whole skincare routine, but I do like once a year like needling and shit.
Okay.
But I won't
basically the same
inject
age
anything.
range.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But we're part of that age range where the doctors were just like pills for everybody.
Yeah.
Like, this is how you solve it. And I don't blame my parents because I'm like, you know, the doctor told you something was wrong and this is how you fix it, and that's what you did. And so
my only objection to that is like I'm not a doctor. I'm just a dude. Like, you know what I mean? Like I'm not well educated, 4-time college attendee. Like, you know, I barely got my associates. Like I'm not, you know, I'm not very well like formally educated.
Yeah.
But
well, you should have been railing Adderall and got a degree like me.
Right. But I will say this: when I was in high school, I failed every math class that I fucking took.
I used to tutor kids in math in high school.
Yeah, I ate a dick in math every semester until I had to retake it, and I barely got a D because I was nice to my teachers, and I was just like, please pass me. Do you want me again?
Yeah.
Do you want me to fail again?
Come
on.
again?
Come on.
Yeah.
But I remember it was senior year. It was senior year, first semester, before I took a final exam for one of my math classes. It wasn't Adderall. It was
Vyvanse?
it wasn't Vyvanse. It was like
Amphetamine
Dex
salts.
something. I don't know. I know it started with a D. Anyway, so I took that, and it got me fucking wired to the gills. I was like, oh,
I'm
shit.
firing on all cylinders.
Yeah, my brain was just on hyperdrive. And I still failed the test. But that was like the most... and I hate that I spent that like hour taking a test, because that hour and some change that I was on that, I was just like, oh, fuck. I feel like I could solve everything, and I still failed the test. But.
Honestly, it's crazy. Like, so I didn't tutor kids in math in high school. I did in college.
Okay.
And I one time I had to do a statistics class over because I transferred colleges a bunch of times because I was just nuts. It's whatever. But I had to take it over, and I was like, I don't need to take this. Like, I already know it. I took the midterm exam. I did fine. And then I never went to the class. And then I was going to take the final, but I went to the final review because I was just like, I should probably see what's on it. And then I realized I don't know any of this shit. And I ate so much Adderall and learned it all in like one night. And I was like, this is why we do this. Like, rrr. But so I was one of those kids that was heavily dosed with amphetamines at a very young age. And I left to go travel because, one, I was from an area where everyone died from opiates. And I learned about like Purdue Pharma and that they did it on purpose and that my whole life is a fucking lie.
You learned about that like at an early age. How old were you then?
Well, I didn't know, like, Purdue Pharma happened in what, like 2008? You know what I mean?
Well, that's when they found out about it.
They found out in 2006.
Yeah.
They got charged in 2008, I believe.
That sounds right.
Yeah,
That's the Sackler family, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
And it's like, I didn't know any of that till about like 2012. Like, my first boyfriend died from Oxycontin. You know what I mean? Like, everyone and their mom was on it. I'm from Baltimore. People realize that heroin is fucking cheaper and easier to get. And like, I was just from like a place, and I didn't know. Like, it never like occurred to me that what was happening around me like wasn't real or right.
Right.
And then when I found all of that out, like, not only is this stuff not real and it's not right, they actually did it on purpose. And they knew. They fucking knew. So when I found that out, I was like, okay, I don't want to live in society anymore, and I don't want to do drugs, like pharmaceutical drugs, right?
Again, how old were you at the time?
When I found out, I was like 20.
Yeah. Okay.
Like my boyfriend passed when I was 18. I was kind of just living in a very like high life. Like, I don't think I really knew what was going. It's really hard for me to relate to that person. You know what I mean? Because like
fair.
I don't do that now, and like I don't know. It's hard for me to like get into the mind frame that she was in. You know, but like
that's good. That shows. I mean, that shows growth.
Yeah,
But like for real,
for real.
like that's like
I'm writing a book about it right now.
Yeah.
So the book's about 2020, but I do like random stories before. And I'm like revisiting like going to the doctor at 10 years old, and I'm revisiting like my best friend robbing me for drugs. You know what I mean? Like those kind of things that are like not normal, that I didn't know weren't normal until I
Yeah.
found out. And then when I found out, I was like, okay, I don't want to live in society anymore. What am I going to do? So I decided to go to Vegas because when I was 19, it's an even longer story, but I was going to be a clothing buyer there because I used to do a lot of thrifting, and I used to be a clothing buyer for a vintage store in DC. And I just knew about Vegas, but I decided to go to college instead. And then when I got out of college, realized that everyone is shit. I was like, let's go to Vegas, let's make money, let's travel the world. Like, I don't know, at this point in my life, it's hard for me to function. Like, I'm not on Adderall anymore.
well, your brain is rewired.
Yeah.
And that's what I was gonna say earlier. Is like, yeah, I'm not educated at all, but like, I still think I'm young. At almost 28 years old, I'm just like, if I had a kid, you know, and the kid like, okay, so you're telling me, doctor or school counselor or whatever, you're telling me that my kid is, again, a child, because typically they get prescribed between the ages of like 11 and 17,
Yeah.
around there. So like, okay, you're telling me that my small child to young adult can't sit still in class for 8 to 9 hours. No fucking shit, first of all. Like, I'd hope not.
Yeah.
Like, you're telling me they're on the right track. Like,
Yeah.
thank God. And if it's a boy, that means that they're hopefully that puberty's working properly and their T fucking production is proper.
But I understand because, like, we didn't have all this information. You know what I
But
mean?
it's just like, I don't know. Yeah, I mean.
we just didn't.
I get.
And my parents were just always taught, like, the doctor said that. Like, the doctor went to school. The doctor paid $100,000 to go to school.
Yeah, I guess
Doctor knows what the fuck he's talking about.
Yeah,
they
the
didn't
benefit of
know that,
knowledge,
like,
I guess, but,
pharma
like-
reps were, you know what I mean? They didn't know any of this stuff.
Yeah.
And I'll never, like, blame them. Like, my parents, not my mom, but, like, my dad even got, like, into the pills in his own little way. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, and I can't be upset because if I was a new parent that had no access to information about these drugs and they were like, hey, your kid's fucked up, it needs work. And, like, they're not wrong. You know, I have ADHD, bipolar, everything they diagnosed me with was right. All the pills
How
they
do
gave me
you-
with, sure.
How do you define ADHD though? Because I feel like that's.
Oh,
one
I'm
of
not a
those-
doctor.
Well,
I don't know.
well, because I just asked because I ask like in a general sense, I guess, because like just outside looking in, that is one of those terms or more general like words that's kind of lost meaning. It's like every
Yeah,
kid has
'cause everyone has
ADHD
it,
now.
yeah.
I mean, I know for a fact that my attention span and a lot of it's the social media on my phone, like my attention span my dopamine receptors are fucked.
Yeah.
They are. Like it's like that's why I love doing podcasting so much and why I try to make a point to put my phone away from me.
Yeah.
Because I'll find like throughout my day, if I'm just like talking to somebody normally, like in the office or whatever, if my phone's in my pocket, I will be touching it. That's not good.
Yeah.
Like just to have like a constant
Well,
contact
so
with
I
my
do a
it's
lot of
weird,
burns,
you know?
right? Like outside of Burning Man, there's a lot of regionals. You know, like there's a lot of like smaller ones. I set up comedy stages. I do a
Okay.
clown casino. I have this whole thing.
A clown casino.
Well, I work for Frick Frack Blackjack. It's a
Okay.
national organization. I recently sold it to somebody. I ran a chapter in Austin to make money because I was like, fuck, I have to get a job. I'm not touring anymore. So I ran a casino. But the thing about burns is that nobody uses their phone, right? You can't take a picture unless everyone has consented to it. A lot of people are naked, like doing their own
Right,
thing.
right,
Everyone's
right,
like
right.
in public, like, you know, doing like things that they don't want the outside world to see. And every time I
Keep
do
going.
that,
I'm just gonna check the cameras and shit.
no, you're good. Every time that I go to one of these things, I find that I'm like rearranging my brain to not use my phone anymore. You know what I mean? Like just a reset of I don't know what the word is, but it's like a neuroplasticity, sending new neurons to the brain, something like that.
Right. Yeah.
It's nice. It's nice to have that like technology break. Yeah. And then every time I get back on it, or every time I'm like going in there and I start scrolling reels and stuff, I'm just like, this was
What do they call
was
it?
a bad idea.
Like the doom scrolling? Like you just get into this death spiral.
I
of
don't
just,
even
like,
notice that I'm doing it. That's
I-
the worst part.
See, what I think worse than that is what I find myself doing recently over the last like maybe 6 months or so, and I need to stop it. Is I'll be scrolling and I see the time up on like the top like left screen or whatever. I'm like, okay,
Oh my God.
okay, when
And then
that
you're like this time.
yeah, when it says whatever 15, I'm gonna stop, and then I keep going. And then it's like 22, and I'm like, okay, 25, whatever.
And then you realize you spent a whole hour. Yeah.
yeah, and it just like that.
I'm trying because like I'm trying really hard to finish this book because it's been like so many years in the making of me being like I'm working really hard on it and write like a bunch of pages and then me being like I haven't seen it in 6 months, you know? And I'm trying to just like like, oh, you want to scroll on the internet? Like edit your book. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like figure it out.
Yeah, well, and that's the part of your brain that I'm trying my best to nurture and like hold on to.
Yeah.
Is the part of my brain that's like, hey, what could you be as I'm doom scrolling or I'm fucking like it's Instagram because I had to completely get rid of TikTok. That was killing me, but Instagram's taken over.
Our algorithm's so good. Yeah.
And so it's like it's either Instagram or it's YouTube. And then I'll like scroll out of YouTube so it plays in the corner of my iPhone and I'll play fucking block puzzle. And I'm like, okay, what could I be doing instead of this to either get my podcast shit done or be a better comedian? And whatever that is, I'm not doing right now. And then like an hour later, I'm asking the same question. And
But
it's
your
like,
dopamine drip is so in it now.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like you just have to have it. It's terrible.
I
do this thing. I have a social folder and then an anti-social folder. And the anti-social things like Duolingo, Reddit, open up to account that like is actually, you know, you're learning stuff or like a podcast thing or Audible, things like that. And then when I find myself just opening my phone and going to Instagram without even thinking about it.
Yeah.
That's when it kills me.
Muscle memory.
Yeah. So then I'll switch the anti-social and the social folder placement so that when I open my phone and open the social thing without thinking about it, I actually open up the anti-social one. I'm like, okay, let's do Duolingo. You know, like, let's do something else.
You're creating like a fucked up game of hide and go seek for yourself.
Yeah. I'm trying. Like, I would love to get rid of social media, but I'm like doing pretty well off of it right now.
I was gonna say like you're doing decently well, and you can't. Like you can't get rid of it.
If I had maybe some other stream of it, no. Actually, I think my goal is to get to the point where I can just pay somebody else to do it.
Well,
you know.
Yeah. No, I agree
like,
with that.
That's the goal.
Yeah, I would love to get to a point like at least because I'm not very good.
And people comment on that on the Kill Tony thing. Like I posted, and I feel kind of dumb because like the first time that it happened, like I didn't really know what to do or like what the rights are, or like what you can do and can't do. And people were like, "Here's your clip. You should post it on YouTube. You should do this. You should do the Ask Me Anything on Reddit."
Like a Kill Tony team?
No, like the Redditors that just kind of.
Oh, okay.
Take that on themselves. You know what
okay.
I mean? And like, I don't know if what I did upset them or like whatever. You know what I mean? Because like I was getting shows in good place. Like things were like really working out for me.
After
and then
the
they
first
just
or the recent one?
after the first one.
Okay,
Actually,
okay.
you know what's funny is I've actually gotten more bookings off the second one, which is wild. Because I was like, you saw that shit? They're like, yeah, you're funny. And I was like, but it like was bad. Like I have all
but
these
I ate
regrets.
a dick.
Yeah, and they were like, yeah, but like you were pretty funny on it. And I was like, what? I was like, okay. Because there was a moment where, like, that one guy, Louis J. Gomez, was like, I'd rather die than, like, die on drugs than hang out with you. And in my head, this is the first time this has ever happened to me. In my head, I was like, sell him drugs. You know what I mean? Like, sell him drugs. But I just couldn't say anything. Because I was just like, oh, my God. Like, I want to leave. Like, I don't want to fucking be... Which I've never really had on stage. Because, like, anytime I've ever eaten a dick on stage, I'm just like, whatever, this is me now. Let's have fun. You know, but it's stand up. Like you don't have anybody else yelling over you. Like you're like, bitch, I get my time. Like, and then it always ends up okay because you're like, listen, I'm having a good time and I don't care.
Yeah.
So, and you should know that. But it was just like such a, I don't know. You're just like in a phase of shock. Like one of my best friends just passed away. Why the fuck did I leave the house? I forget what I was saying. Oh yeah, just like having things that you're always thinking about for no reason. Like you're just like, this is stupid. I feel like I was talking about booking or something. I don't know.
Oh, is it about how like after this last one you managed to get more like people reaching out to you?
Oh, that's what I was telling you. So people will comment because I left the first one up on the internet. The second one, I still get people that message me like, "You did so good." I'm like, "Did you see it?" And then I'm like, "Oh, the first one, right." And then there are people that comment on that video and they like give me shit about my internet presence. They're like, "This video has 500,000 views. Like, you could be posting things online and actually doing stuff." And blah, blah, blah. I'm like, do you want to be my social media manager? Some guy just messaged me in the middle of the day, like just commented on the video and was like, this is either going to be the biggest thing in your career or it's not. And I'm like, it's 11:55 in the morning, Alex. Okay. Like, I'm just trying to like survive out here. Like, yeah, it was really cool to have a bump for sure.
Yeah.
It was also really cool to watch it sink as a ship, personally. Like, I just thought it was hilarious. Like, the full circleness of it was just so funny.
But that shows you don't have, like, a huge, like, attachment to it. Like, a huge, like, oh, I need my social media to be this or that, or I need the high engagement, or, like, the numbers or what's justifying what I'm doing.
Yeah.
And I already picked up on that earlier in the conversation, but it's like, it's good that you don't have that, because people that, me personally, I feel like people that get attached to numbers and engagement and analytics and all of that, it's fecal. It's fickle.
It's addicting.
What is fecal too? It's shit. It is shit.
It's addicting.
But yeah, it's very addicting. And as I remember, like 2 years ago, 3 years ago now, whatever, right around Christmas time, I randomly had a podcast clip go viral, and I didn't know what the fuck was going on. Like, again, I was talking about earlier, the most low IQ fucking thing. It was me and my friends drunk on the podcast at like probably 1 a.m., 2 a.m.
Yeah.
We were doing a podcast together, laughing at some AI thing. That totally got us, by the way. Like, I thought it was a funny clip that actually happened of Winston Churchill, but It was an AI thing. But it was still funny, like, whatever. And I posted it, and then 3 days later, it was literally every 2 seconds, or like, not 2 seconds, but like every like 30 seconds, I would refresh my Instagram, 100 more likes, 100 more, just for like a week. And it got up to like 5 million or some shit. And I was like, oh, fuck.
Wow.
Oh, this is it. I'm going to fucking know. Whatever. And of course, like half the comments, like, you guys are fucking retarded. Take away podcast equipment. These guys are idiots. I'm like, all right, whatever. And then
You can't read the I've learned.
Yeah.
You can't.
Yeah.
You just can't.
And I'd also imagine too that our worlds are a bit different, because I'd imagine just the comment section for women is just more fucking insane, and your DMs are way more insane.
It is insane.
For me, it's just they're calling me a retard, and they're like, "Oh, AI got you." But like my thing on my Instagram is like, "You're reaching like 3 million accounts," and I was like, "This is great." And then like 2 weeks later, it was like, "Oh, you're back down to like 8,000.
Yeah.
Good job." I'm like, "Ah, fuck, whatever." But I'd imagine
I've been there. Yeah.
your shit is like way more insane than mine.
It's
is.
up and down, and I hate to admit this out loud and tell everybody, but I read every message because I'm looking for people that want to book or buy paintings.
That's fair.
And
fair.
I do often, like, I've made a lot of money. Every time I post a video, I have drop shipping stores that sell, and someone will hit me up about a painting if they don't want to buy the prints and they want the original, and I get really good money off of it, so it's worth it for me to check it. And I hate admitting that, because it's like I get some of the worst. I'm pretty good at just being like, nope.
Right.
And I know that
How many unsolicited dick pics though?
oh, I don't ever click on a picture if it's
Good.
because you're not booking. You know what I mean? Like, there's
Yeah.
no reason why you should be sending me a picture. And I don't have an OnlyFans. You know what I mean? Like, I don't
Yeah.
sell pictures, but like I'll paint pictures of my tits and sell them on a toilet for sure. You know? I don't give one single fuck. But and nothing against anybody that does.
It's just like naked and fat steamer.
It was funny. Someone actually messaged me the other day, and they were like, I really want to commission a painting, and I want it to look like this one or this one, and they were both tit ones.
Yeah.
And I was like, if you want tits, just say you want tits, because I was not in the mood that day.
Right.
And he was like, I want tits, and I was like, I'll give you a small one for $800. And he was like, I'll do it. And I was like,
Damn.
great. And I was like, I don't care.
Fucking.
I called my dad. I was like, this chill. He was like, yeah, it's art. I was like, cool.
Is this chill? Is your dad your barometer for what's cool, what's not?
He's
Yeah.
my moral compass.
That's
100%. And I really want to be clear that I have no problem with women that do sex work. Plenty
Right,
of friends
yeah.
that do it. I understand it.
No, it's
You're
just fun to
taking back
talk
your
shit.
power.
No,
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, you want to talk shit? Okay. So there was this girl. This is like probably one of the worst things I could ever say. Like, this is not a stand-up joke, but I just hope, I know that she makes fake accounts and messages me horrible shit. I just know she's doing it, you know, and it's fine. Like, I don't care. Your life, whatever. She stole a lot of money from me, and she stole a lot of equipment from me with
This
the
is a
clown.
comic?
No, this is a clown casino thing. Yeah, she stole a lot of money and equipment from me,
Talk
and
about
then
a niche culture.
I know, right? she does sex work, and she's a stripper, but she can't dance, can't twerk, can't split, nothing. Great gal. And
Useless, but great.
so she does a show where she masturbates publicly, which I have no problem with. We were business
show?
partners. It's like a striptease show.
Oh,
like
okay,
like
okay.
something you would find at a sex shop, like a very niche.
Okay,
thing.
okay.
I'm not even going to say where it's from because I don't
that's
need this
fair.
kind of smoke in my
No,
life.
yeah, you know you're good.
She knows. And anyway, so she's arguing with me on the phone one day about all the money that she stole from me, saying that it's not her fault. It is her fault. You know what I mean? And she's like, this stuff is mine. I'm like, you didn't buy a 50-foot strand of lights. You know what I mean? Like, you didn't buy this stuff. And you
Yeah.
stole it. And she's like getting mad, and she's like, I'm at work. Like, I can't argue with you right now.
Yeah, I'm at work. Leave me
Exactly. That's exactly what I was saying. I was like, man, this is probably one of the worst thoughts I've ever had in my life. But thinking about you masturbating angrily to like people about like you robbing me is the only thing bringing me joy right now. And I know that's like horrible, but I have a lot of
my
friends that do
God.
OnlyFans that I really enjoy their company, and I like, that they're like free and able to have this amazing life off something that even 10 years ago someone would have taken advantage of them. So I think it's great.
Genuinely, no pun intended, but different shows for different folks.
Yeah, exactly.
You know,
Yeah,
like
yeah.
I don't agree with most of it, but yeah, live your fucking life. Like, do your fucking thing.
Yeah, I have no problem with other people are doing. I don't want to stigma. I want to destigmatize it, but at the same time, I'm making fun of it a lot. So I guess I'm not.
Well, because it's fun to talk.
It's very
shit.
funny. It's
fun to talk
It's
shit.
always fun to talk shit.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. So you leave Asia. For the last time. When was the last time you went there?
This year.
This
actually,
past
yeah.
year. Okay. So what I'm curious about is how you're putting tours together.
Ooh, this is a good one.
Because
Okay,
that's one of the things
so-
that's like intangible to most comics.
Yeah.
you
Okay.
know?
So right now I'm writing a book called "Laughing in Bars and Crying on Trains," and it's about 2020, and it's kind of like the backstory to everything. But I've started. Thank you. I've started to write in another book. Well, I've just started the outline because I got a really good idea that like kind of coincides with what you're saying. I wanted to call it Between Breakdowns because it was going to be the whole of me touring the U.S. after Asia and the pandemic. Because what happened is that during the pandemic, I just basically was like setting up shows anywhere. Like lawyers were paying. Anyone who could try to make money in this town wanted me to come and get people to come to their bar. And then I kind of realized like I can do this in the U.S. I'll just go to small towns where like.
So where was this
nothing's
beforehand?
happening.
Before the U.S., were you setting up like random shows and shit?
I wasn't really like I was just hitting people up for stage time before 2020, and then when
Okay.
2020 happened, I was only 4 years into comedy, and I had to write an hour to do the show. Like you just have to.
And you said during the pandemic that you were in Asia. What part of Asia was that?
I was in
again?
Thailand.
Thailand.
Yeah.
Okay.
So I was like doing an hour everywhere, definitely before I deserved it. Was it bad? No. Was it great? No. You know what I mean? Like it was good enough.
Yeah.
It was a good starting point. And then by doing that, it encouraged me to be more wild and planning and doing my own shows in the U.S. So I'm writing this book called, after the first book, I'm writing another one called Between Breakdown, and it's going to be like a no-name comic survival guide and all the breakdowns in between. And I'm going to break down every single way that I did it, but I will like share it with you. I'm not gatekeeping literally anything. I don't care if you don't want to buy the book later because I already gave away the secrets that you want. I don't care. There'll be a lot of great information in there. And it was funny. You said something earlier. I don't remember what it was, but I've written what all the chapters are going to be about in the outline of like, and they're going to be like different advice for comics, right? So like one of them will be like how to book shows, and then it'll be like a bunch of stories of how I did it, or like how to tour, like how to get merch, how to do that. You know what I mean? Like, but just like stories corresponding it. And I think I'm going to write Be Funny as the last one because it's like, who the fuck am I to tell you? I think we were talking about it earlier where someone was like, can I do stand up? It's like, can you put the amount of time into it? And then there's the last one I'll write Be Funny because it's like, who am I to tell you not to be delusional? You know what I mean? Like, maybe you are funny. Maybe you need to fight through the delusion. Like, don't let that stuff. Like, what do I care?
You do need it, and again.
Oh, you 100% need it.
It varies between person, but you need
But
an
if you-
unhealthy amount of delusion to believe that you
Yeah.
can fucking just grab a microphone and convince people to laugh at you. 'Cause at the end of the day, it's what you're like.
Unhealthy
You're tricking them into laughing with you, at you, whatever your objective is. But to exercise laughs out of these people, you have to trick them one way or another. And you have to be delusional enough to think you're good enough to do that. Because the best make it look so easy. And they just get up there and do it, and hundreds, if not thousands of people are like, and then you go up and do it, and it's...
Yeah, exactly. Okay, so to answer your question.
Yeah, tours.
How do I book stuff? Okay, this is what you should do. Okay, so when I start booking tour, if I have no direction, if I have to be somewhere, then that's the direction. I'll try to find usually I'll hit up every club. You know what I mean? I also do this thing that's really terrible where if I know I deserve to be there and the club won't book me, I'll book the closest bar and I'll go broke selling it out so they can watch me have a fucking line. And I was telling someone the other day about this one club, and I don't want to say which one it is, but she'll know. And I set up a robot, and this was before AI. This is 5 years ago. Or what? No, it was after the pandemic, so it was 3 years ago. But I guess AI was around. But anyway, I made a bot because I used to work in tech and I know how to program a bunch of shit. I made a bot that would automatically email this lady at a club because she pissed me off so bad that I sold out a dive bar that could fit 80 people. I sold 100 tickets every time I did it. And I was like, let me bring this to your club. And I would send her automated emails with the recap video. And then when I knew that she wasn't going to book me and that it was over and that she just hates me because she told me to my face, I just started automating emails to her.
I'm going to make a guess at what...
you won't guess. It's not around here.
It's not... No, I don't think
it's not in this state. It's not in this side of the country.
Oh, okay, never mind.
Yeah.
Never mind.
It's on the East Coast.
Oh, okay, never mind.
No. I don't hold grudges or vendettas like that, but it's you are giving buy one, get one free ticket sales on the internet. I am selling out the dive board next door. Give me a fucking once a year date.
Because bookmark that. Because after the tourist thing, I was going to ask you about marketing. So bookmark that.
Okay, got it.
Putting the tours together. And I guess I should
tell you how to put the tours together.
Like an asterisk on the tours, and it's subjective, I suppose, but quality with a question mark next to it.
So, it's funny. I recently had this mini existential crisis about, I recently put out a tour poster with things like the burger stand and Taco Hell. You know what I mean? Just obviously I'm doing terrible places, right? And I was like, man, should I be putting this on the internet? But at the same time, 2 or 3 people show up. Yo, I saw your thing on the internet. They buy a painting. I make a bunch of money. Is it really shameful to be doing small bars when I'm low key kind of killing it cash wise?
Well, and that's what I mean when I say question mark next to it. It's quality, just being funny to a point is subjective, but quality is subjective. It's what's
quality of the bar, sure.
The quality of the shows. It's what are you going for? What are you getting out of it? What does it end up being? It's all this weird alchemy.
I did a during the day show at a used video store with 8 people. I made $500.
Should you play a fucking Blockbuster?
Yeah, that would be amazing. I would love that.
That's honestly. So one of my buddies. Sorry to cut you off.
You're gonna do a Blockbuster tour? No, please.
But that's my thing. Is Blockbuster still has one location in Ohio.
Yeah.
And because and I had this.
It's got to be a novelty at this point.
For sure. Because I had this thought a couple nights ago. It was one of my good buddies in town. He is the producer for Don't Tell here in Albuquerque. And he does most of Santa Fe too, but in Albuquerque. And I was thinking about, I was like, man, if we had that fucking Blockbuster here, that would be a nutty Don't Tell. But anyway, so putting the tour together.
Okay, so to put a tour together as a no-name comic, first thing you want to do is try to get a club, right? Because it not only helps your tour poster or whatever make you look cool, but it also helps with booking other places. Yo, I'm going to be at this club. I can come by your place on this off day, just so you know. And they're pretty cool with it. If you're I've had places, I do this club in Louisville, and every time I get it, all the places around me will say yes immediately. And Zany's in Nashville will be sure, come by on one of our off nights. But if you don't get that place, a lot of people won't email you back. You know what I mean?
Right, because they want the
the notoriety.
Right,
even if it doesn't mean
the confidence of the
even
other
if
place.
I'm just opening up for somebody at that club, I can still say that. You know what I mean?
Right,
That just gets you better gigs. Okay, I'm fucking lie to people. You know what I mean? Make up an application. Who gives a shit? As long as you're who cares? Maybe they'll never hire you again, but just do it. Who cares? And I don't care if people take up space in the comedy thing because I don't give a shit about doing it in the middle of nowhere. You know what I mean? Like, you want to shun me to a little bar, I'm here anyway. I don't care.
Somebody else succeeding doesn't mean that you're not.
Exactly. There's enough
That's
hours.
fucking
There's enough
retarded.
people. Like, I don't care. And also, like, in comedy, you really have to put blinders on because it'll drive you insane. Why did that person get this opportunity?
Like,
Why can't I
comparison
play
is
it?
the thief of joy for
Exactly.
sure, but like I've
In
noticed 'cause-
comedy, you can't. You just can't.
Yeah.
Just leave it alone. Write your own shit. Put your head down. Do your own thing.
I've gotten to the point where I'm just like, because like, the guy who'll be here tonight, AJ, he just fucking messaged William Montgomery. He got to do a guest spot at one of his shows at Hyenas, fucking crushed. And then William's like, hey, you want to do it again?
Yeah.
Crush it again.
Exactly.
Hey, you want to do it tomorrow? Crush it again. And I was like, okay, you know what? Fuck this. Like, he got this off of and granted, the work spoke for itself, but he didn't get the work until he just said, so I was like, fuck
Closed
it.
mouths don't get fed.
I'm just gonna start emailing, and that's how
Yeah.
that's what helped me. A huge other thing helped me get Plano, but like that's what like my persistence with that got me Plano, and then
Yeah.
we're doing Austin. And it's like, yeah,
And that's
just
why newer
fuel
comics
it.
can really thrive because you have no shame in asking for shit. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
I feel like now I have a weird amount of shame for asking for things. And it's like, why? And then it's like, I don't know. Sometimes I'll like go to a place where they're like, they don't believe that I could do an hour. They don't know. Like, they kind of treat me like shit. And then afterwards they're really nice. And I'm like,
Okay,
do I
so-
want to come to this place? Yes, I do. Everyone buys merch.
I don't
give
sound
a
like
shit.
a prick, but do you think it's because you're a woman?
I've never had the other experience, so I wouldn't know.
I just asked because I feel like there's, like you were saying a little bit
it's
earlier,
certainly possible.
like there may be that stigma still where it's like women aren't funny, or
Yeah.
like women comics aren't really comics.
I mean, there is a lot of. I mean, what are you gonna do? You know, I didn't get into comedy being like, well, I have this great advantage. You know what I
Right,
mean?
yeah.
Like, I knew what was happening, and I know what it's like. And there was a documentary a bunch of girls in New York made that was really good, where the girl was like, people don't believe a woman is funny on stage until they prove them wrong, and they don't believe a man is not funny on stage until they prove him wrong. And I think that's correct. Which
yeah,
is,
I'd agree
and
with
like,
that.
I don't know if it makes you work hard. I don't know if that's why. I'll never know, you know? I can tell when a club is sexist, easy. You go into their place, you see a bunch of like posters on the wall. They book any guy who, and I'm not saying the guy doesn't deserve it. He probably does, you know? He definitely does. He's there, he's funny, whatever. And then you see once every 2 months, they'll have one girl. And she has all the accolades. She's got Netflix. She's got the Jimmy Kimmel show. She's got everything you've ever had. But they'll book any dude they think is funny. But they'll only book the girl with like a shitload of stuff. And it's every once a month so that nobody yells at them. I go there and I'm like, these people are never going to book me. I know that right now.
Right.
I'll call out that club in Sacramento right now. You know, like, you did that shit. You know what I mean? Like, and I don't think it ever bothered me because I always like knew that was going to happen. And I was like, it's like the pills when you're little. Like, it's just how the world is, you know?
Right, yeah.
And it really didn't occur to me that it didn't have to be like that until I started producing all women shows. Not because I care about women deeply, but because it made money. It made a lot of money.
Where was this at?
I did a lot of them in North Carolina. I did some in D.C., Virginia. Where else? I done one in Alabama.
An all women show in Alabama. How the fuck did that go?
It went amazing because when
Good
you do a
shit.
small town, sometimes like people they've never had it.
What part of Alabama?
I was in Mobile,
Okay.
and then I did.
I asked just because I got family out in Alabama, so I'm
Nice.
just curious.
Yeah, no,
That's
Mobile
funny.
comedy is like pretty cool actually, and where another one that surprised me was Little Rock, Arkansas. The only place that the women's shows have not sold out is Texas. I did one in Vegas too. It did
Okay.
really well. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
So anyway, put the tours together.
Okay, putting the tours together.
Yeah.
So you try to find a club. You try to use that club to like leverage all your other stuff, and then the way that I would book it is I book money stuff first, and money stuff is like things that you produce, and like to go along with the marketing. Theme shows always sell better. If no one doesn't know your name, pick a theme. You know what I
Define
mean?
theme shows.
Ladies' Night was really good for me. Some people do gong shows. I did the if they let me have a piece of the bar and I ran a mic all night, I would do the game thing, like storytelling. You know, like just any theme will get more people in the door. Don't ask me why, but it does.
More than just like a blah 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 and friends.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, and it's funny because I had never done. This is my first and friends show. I've never done. I hope the marketing works. Honestly, like I do. Because if it does, I'm going to use it all the time. And because I don't care. I have no I just want to convince people to come to the show. Like, I don't care. Someone was like, you have
Right.
really good headshots. Are you catfishing people? I was like, no, I just want to convince them to come. I don't wear that much makeup in real life. Like, I don't care. So then I book money stuff. And money stuff is like production. So the way that I book that is I'll see a town on my route, right? And I'm like, okay, I can definitely hit this town. I can definitely be there. I'm a month in advance. I'm going to try to do marketing at the same time.
Yeah.
And then if I do get it, I'll put $1 a day to ads. I'll do them in a geographic, no demographics at all. Phones are too much private to ever go through that again. And if you put comedy, you're just getting comics.
Wait, so back up again. Okay, say that one more time. So you're picking out the towns.
Yeah.
And when you're doing $1.
$1 a day ad around the venue. And
Okay.
only the venue with no demographics. It doesn't weed out anybody. Anybody who's around the venue should see this over and over and over and over again.
So and I hate to get real nerdy about. Well, I don't hate to get real nerdy, but I want to get real nerdy about this just because like I've tried to do Google ads and Meta ads myself. It's because like when you're setting the ad, it'll like. I'm trying to think about the one that I did a couple weeks ago. So it'll make you do like for fans of blank, and then it'll do where do you want it based on like a zip code.
Don't do any fans of anything, no demographics.
Zero.
None. Zero.
Okay.
Because the thing is that there's so many privacy settings on your phone now. If they don't let the cookie stay or
Right.
they can get rid of it. Like, just don't do it.
Okay.
Just don't do it. It used to work really well, but now if you do anything comedy, you're only getting comics. The only people who like comedy on Facebook are comedians. You know what I mean? Like the actual I like comedy section.
Right.
You know?
Okay, so then
So all demographics, just geographics.
literally $1 a day.
Or all geographics, no demographics. If you can do it for 30 days, yes.
Okay.
Because then whoever's there, it's such a small point, they're going to see it over and over and over and
Because
over
the
again.
reason I asked for that is because like a buddy of mine, shout out to Jaron, he's in a band, a local band, and he was telling me how like their strategy for setting up their stuff is they'll do like I bring this up because of like time frames, like they'll do like a big blast 48 hours beforehand.
Okay, it can work.
Right.
I don't want to say it can't.
Yeah, no, I'm not trying to contrast the two,
If-
but I'm just interested in the comparison.
If I do $1 a day and then suddenly, for no reason whatsoever, it's performing amazing, I'll ramp it up. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? But if it's not, I'm not wasting money on it.
Right.
I have a lot to say about this. I need to use the restroom.
Yeah, we can take a
Okay,
break.
cool.
Yeah, no problem. Because this is really good information.
Yeah,
So,
I think a lot of people probably want to hear this. Okay.
So the marketing.
So, so the way that I get a show in a small town is that first I'll look up comedy in this town, right? Just straight up Google it, you know, like comedy in so-and-so.
Right.
If I find that someone's doing shows, I'll reach out to them first and I'll be like, hey man, what's up? I'd like to do a show here. If they've already got an established thing, I'm not going to try to run my own in town. I don't care to like fight with anybody. If there is no so then I'll either do that or I'll work with them to produce a show because maybe they're in a smaller town. They've never worked with someone who does like, you know, big productions before. And I'm happy to do it. I'm happy to help them. I'm happy to show them the way, you know, this is how you can improve whatever. If they're open to it, that's great. If there is no comedy in that town, I'll look for places that do music. They have good lights. They have good sound. Preferably a place without a pool table, but sometimes you get that. And you have to explain to them that, like, you can't play pool during this. Like, it's only 2 hours. And they're like, my regulars. And I'm like, okay, if I bring in 20 people that have never been here, are you going to give a shit about your regular anymore that spends $5 every hour? Like, come on, dude.
Right. Yeah.
And if they're not game, they're not game. And with the venue, I'll be like, what's your slowest night? Let's change that, you know, like things like that. And then from there, if I have anything on the way, like I'll just look up, I'll do any show that's on the way, you know, because I sell merch. I know I'm making money. If I don't get the headlining spot, I won't make as much on merch because, you know, like people forget or whatever. Like I have had times where I was the host and outsold everybody. I've had times where I did it, you know, like opposites. So I think that covers tour. Oh, here's another really great one. I do this thing called Harvest Host. Have you ever heard of this? It's $30 a year, and you could park your bus, van, RV as an RV into breweries, and they like give you the spot. It's very great. It's an amazing thing, and then you can hit them up in advance and say, "Hey, would you like to have a comedy show that day?" And then sometimes they'll be like, "I don't know, we're not comfortable having a door charge," and then I'll be like, "Oh, I'll do it for free," even though people don't pay for free. People don't come to free shows like they do when you charge tickets. You should always charge tickets.
Okay, can we pause there for a second? 'Cause
Sure.
I'm curious about
I know,
that.
a lot of information.
No, because I'm curious specifically about charging the door, because this has been an internal conversation between me and AJ.
For sure.
Because we've been doing Safe House now for coming up on a year. We do all right. We're coming up on like a slow night for us is 25 people.
That's pretty great.
Great night for us. Average night's about 40. Great night gets up to about 55 to 60. We've had a couple of like we did a couple Native American like based comedy shows there, and that motherfucker got to like 75.
I
people.
bet.
It was. We had like 75 people here. I wasn't here for the one here, but they had like 90 in this bitch. It was insane.
I was just talking about Chad Ryden about that.
Yeah.
How he tries to like uplift the voice of the Native Americans, because he was like, you know, they want to have classes, they want to do stuff, they don't want white people telling them what to do. So he's employing Native American comics to come teach comedy now.
Interesting.
Yeah, and he was talking about when you book them, you got to try to find openers because they're kind of I mean, like, I get it. You know, I wouldn't love white people either if, you know, they just destroyed the shit out of everything I love, which I guess they kind of do. But
my question though is like, this has been a conversation between me and him where we're like, okay, we have regulars that come to our shows too, which is really nice. I love that. The conversation we're having now is like, okay, this has been established as a free show, and how do we justify tacking on a $5?
what does the bar give you?
$10? We're getting to the point now. I think 2 months ago we started getting 20% from the bar,
Okay,
something like that.
that's pretty good.
Yeah, like 15 or 20. I forget. I'd have to ask him.
20% of bar sales is really good.
Yeah. So it's like, because a lot of the shows that we do, we'll pay the headliner for sure.
Yeah.
You know, but like the supporting act, you know, it's just time. And so now we're getting to a point where it's like, okay, because we just barely started getting bar percentages.
Yeah.
So it's like, how do we justify? Because that's the other
Here's
thing
the
too with Albuquerque comedy is like there's not a lot of comedians to pull from. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So and we try to keep it fresh. I don't want to rebook someone inside 90 days, either here or because we just got another venue on the I guess like far east part of town or whatever. Anyway, south part of town, and we try to like not rebook someone within 90 days to try to keep it fresh. But it's also like, how do we justify the tacking on a price? You know what I mean?
I don't think you should, and here's why.
Shouldn't add a price to it.
I don't think you should.
Right.
And
yeah.
here's why. One, I think it's harder to market free shows. I just do, because you can't ascertain value. You know, people are like, oh, they're taking me on a date to a free show. But if you have one that's doing really well, like there are ones that do really well. Like the Dirty and 1230 is one of the biggest shows in the United States, and it's free, you know? And like every comic in Vegas, as soon as they do that show, it's their profile picture. You know what I mean? Like it's a huge deal. And once you've established value without the tickets, it is kind of hard to go back. So what I would suggest instead, one, getting a 20% bar sales, that's amazing. Like maybe try to find ways to keep people there longer. You know, if you can do programming all night, if you can run an open mic afterwards, or you want to do, you know, like or gamify it like I did. Like I don't fucking own bingo, you know, maybe don't do the middle square thing because that's my thing. But like do it, you know, do whatever you have to do to make money. I don't care, you know. But as far as like increasing revenue, what I would suggest is make merchandise that's specific to that show. Get a contract with the venue first to do a year before you invest in merch.
That's fucking smart.
But do that. Have a tip jar that goes around. You know what I mean? Like have a QR code that's massive, just hanging out. Always.
I've been meaning to fucking do that because someone else told me that.
Yeah.
I think Allison actually told me that.
You gotta make it
get
easy
a tip jar
for people to pay you. Like everyone who does well in Kiltony, that they're like, what should I do now? Like, I made a lot of money off my first appearance because it's so easy to pay me. You know what I mean? Like you find my website, you find my tip jar, you find my drop shipping stores. I make it 3 buttons. You don't have to fill anything out. My friend was like, I have a GoFundMe. Why should I put anything else? Because it deters people. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, because GoFundMe is different than tipping.
Yeah.
Or different than like paying.
Well, you have to like put your email in. You know what I mean? Like if you have a QR code that says you hit the QR code and it's like PayPal, Cash App, Zelle. You know, like all the different, just type which one you want. You know what I mean? Or have different QR codes for each one. If you make it easy for people to pay you, they will pay you. And it's like another thing with like the paintings and stuff. Like I basically have an option for if someone wants to spend a lot of money, they can, you know, and having that option is great. So what you can say to the bar is it okay? So you sell tickets for free, right? You can also say, I have VIP tickets now. We'll have a bottle of champagne waiting for you and your date at your table. $100, and then you talk to the venue and you're like, how much would you charge for that? They're like 50. You're like, great, you know? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
or if they
yeah,
say
yeah.
100, then it's 200 because it's not worth it for you to sell this preamp ticket. You just like keep the free tickets because you have a good thing going.
Yeah.
And you want
Because I don't want to burn existing
don't
people.
burn existing
You know
people.
what I mean?
But if someone wants to pay money, give them that option. Like, there's been so many times where I ran an all-women show in Charlotte, and we did really well on a Friday night with a lot of competition. And they were like, how did you sell tickets? And I showed them the tiers, right? I was like, yeah, you can get this ticket or you can get VIP. They're like, what does VIP mean? I was like, it means nothing. It means you want to spend 10 more fucking dollars. And if someone asks me what it is, I go, way to go, VIP, and I pat them on the back. But I also have like, do you want a bottle of champagne waiting for you? You know, because some people will be like, I don't want to go to a free show with my date. It's not impressing them. But, oh, hey, babe, I bought the $100 one where we're going to come in. Our seats are going to be out for us. The bottle of champagne's going to be sitting there fucking waiting. You know what I mean? Like, there are no refunds, you know?
Yeah,
Just selling, like, or a bucket of beer. See what kind of packages the venue's willing to sell, and then put that on your ticket thing.
That's so fucking smart.
Like, yeah, you can have a free ticket, or like, people usually don't want to sit in the front row, but you can say front row guaranteed this much.
I love that idea, and I love the branded merch for the comedy show with the venue because they would fuck with that so hard.
ABC, baby. Always be closing. No, just kidding. No, you always want to have avenue open for money. Like, just what's the easy, like, I'm a freaking sales funnel. I do everything I do because I want it to be good. I want to be creative. I want to do that stuff.
I'm the same way.
But I also know that I'll work 5,000 jobs just to make ends meet, or I could just make it slightly easier to pay me for the things that I'm already going to do.
You're fucking smart, dude.
Yeah. And don't buy like crazy expensive merch. Just get a cricket from a pawn shop or whatever. Just do it yourself.
No, he's got a good merch guy.
Oh, great.
You know, we've got a good merch guy in town.
Yeah. But also
Yeah.
make the venue sign a contract before you buy merch. Because if you buy merch that's brand specific to that venue, or make the show a name that doesn't need the venue, you know what I mean? Because if you buy all this fucking merch and they're like, hey, we actually found someone else in town that'll pay us $500 a night for the venue instead of doing it for 20% of the bar, and they're going to take your crowd, which can happen.
Yeah, I don't see that happening.
Yeah, but don't buy
But-
merch for someone that doesn't sign anything that says that you have a specific amount of shows
Yeah, I get
because
you.
you're investing money into
It's
it.
like getting into a marriage. Like, yeah, we know we love each other, but a prenup would probably be smart.
Yeah. And it's like, legally, that document probably wouldn't hold up, but it will make them think about it
Right.
and know that you're serious. Because there was a venue that I was working with.
No, I know a couple of decent lawyers.
Yeah.
That would look over it for.
There was a venue that
couple
I
of
was
shekels.
working with that I made magnets instead of flyers because we were running a show every Tuesday. So I was like, put this on your thing. Like, you live
Right.
nearby, you don't want to come tonight, that's cool, here's a magnet.
Yeah.
But I made them sign a contract before I invested money into that. Because I was like, you're not going to drop me after I buy this. Like, you're just not. I don't care what happens.
Is there any value that you've seen in physical marketing? I'm talking like flyers and like physical.
Hell yes.
Physical post-ups.
Hell yes.
Newspaper
Hell
stuff.
yes. Yeah.
Okay, talk about that a little
Okay,
bit.
so first of all, every eye that you can get is amazing. Obviously, you should be like, how much is this going to cost me? But I think it's easier to run a weekly show than I do to run a monthly for a few reasons. Number one,
Because it's funny you say that because this is weekly and then everything else is monthly.
yeah, weekly's easier because I don't know if you know this, but you can add this. You can do it on other ones too if it's not as easy, but you can. If you know the person that has the Google listing to this place, you can add the event on Google so that when people search for comedy, they'll find you. And if you're doing a weekly one, you can actually open yourself as a comedy club weekly, and those are your hours, and then people will find you off Google. I don't know what like foot traffic's like here, but
Right, but I just feel like the
I ran
comedy
a
club thing.
I ran a
you know
show.
what I mean?
Look, I get it. You don't want to be. I get it. It's like
I don't
like,
want false advertisement where it's
I'm-
like comedy club and
I'm-
it's like
I'm excellent at marketing.
this place is great, but like
I always feel like a imposter doing it for myself, and I get that, and I get that but it's like an upstairs comedy club. Be very realistic about the venue. You know what I mean? Like, take pictures.
Yeah.
No surprises, kind of thing. But if someone's searching for comedy and they find you on Google because you said it's a comedy club on Tuesdays, or what day is it?
Yeah, Tuesday.
Is it Tuesday?
Yeah, today's Tuesday.
Nice. So you can make it a comedy club every Tuesday. Like, that will get. In DuPont Circle, that was 80% of my business.
Well, it's funny you say that though because the venue that we just started doing business with on the south side of town, it's a brewery, but then they have like there used to be a business next to them, but they actually bought the building next, or like it's like a small like strip, you know what I mean? And so like the place next to them, they bought it, hollowed it out, and then made it into a venue area. That would make sense to like list that, and then interesting.
Listen, just a comedy club that's open on like people know that it's not a real. You know what I mean? Like, take pictures, be very honest.
No, I get what you mean.
Tell comics like you want time, write a review.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Encourage, pull your freaking tab open and be like, bitch, I'll buy you a beer. Like, write a review.
Right.
Those reviews are everything.
Right.
And
but
if you can get on like TripAdvisor, Yelp, you know, like all those companies are bullshit, but like people find you up there. Every new
they do
avenue
for sure.
is good.
When then getting on, because it's super easy. Like when you're looking, like I was literally doing that for Plano. I was looking at, I was like, okay, I'm gonna get there at 4. I'm definitely gonna prep for the show, whatever. But if I have time to kill beforehand, and then after, not after, but like the next day before I leave, I want to see something in Plano. I looked up like things to do in Plano, and stuff came up. But that's a great idea. Getting with the venue or the person who runs the Google listing for the venue and having it. That's fucking smart.
That's like 80% of your business right there. And then like print. I think print works really well. I do. I just do.
Like newspaper and...
Oh, yeah. Anything. Yeah. I mean, you're going to get a different demographic, but it's still great.
It's still,
putting flyers at smoke shops is always good. Any community board kind of thing. Like
AJ works for a dispensary.
Yeah. That's a great place to have it. People look for events there all the time.
We run ads there on their like TV screens and shit.
Like when I do, let's say I can't physically get to town, I never book comics. They always reach out. You know what I mean? Like, they'll always be like, "Hey, I see you're doing a show. Can I have some?" I'm like, "Yeah, great. Can I mail you flyers to put out? Is that cool? Like, if you're down with that,
do it?
Yeah, all the time.
Fuck
Yeah. Why wouldn't you? I'll give you. You know what I mean? Like,
comics are lazy. Come on.
I mean, if they're motivated enough to hit me up, they're usually motivated enough to help with the show. And I paid. I'm never like. You bring people, like if you bring, I'm giving you the money for their tickets. I didn't earn that fucking money. You know what I mean? Right. And if I find out that you're like, oh, I brought these people, but really you're just saying that just to get paid, I'm going to be like, if you want to get paid, these are the things I need you to do. You don't have to lie to me. I'll put you to fucking work. Yeah. You know? So I think that print does work really well. I think that barking works really well, especially on tourist streets. If you have someone charismatic, like I've seen horrible barkers that are not worth hiring, and I've seen amazing people that I wish I could pay more.
What's the opening pitch?
Well,
okay,
it kind of depends on where you are, because I've done the Fringe Festival.
But describe barking.
Okay.
Just briefly.
Barking is when you just hand out flyers to get into a show. But here's the thing. Okay, so I've done the Fringe Festival, right? The Edinburgh Fringe Festival. You know about this?
I've heard the name, I think.
It's the biggest comedy festival in the world.
Oh, fuck me. Okay.
And it's like...
See, I'm the layman
But it's the
comic.
do-it-yourself. It's the oldest running comedy
Okay,
festival. It's been around for like 100 years.
When I think Comedy Fest, I think Skankfest.
It's 100 times bigger than Skankfest.
Okay.
Yeah, and it's in Edinburgh, Scotland.
Okay.
And it's like the do-it-yourself because you get your own venue, you like hand out your own flyers, you have to flyer for like 9 hours a day to get anybody there because the competition's so stiff. So in a place like that, when I acted like I didn't care, like I was like eating, didn't care about the flyer and just handed it to people, they took it more. Did they come more? I'm not sure. I didn't really look at their faces.
Yeah.
But in a place like DC, where people aren't walking on the street for fun, they're going to work or home or yoga class, you have to try to have a personal connection with them.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or like maybe some people don't. It's like, it's just a weird amount of demographics. For me, if I pick up 100 flyers, I know 10 people are coming from that. I know I'm going to get 10%. There's no way I'm not. And sometimes I get really lucky and I make people laugh on the street and then they'll bring their friends back. Like a place like Austin, people are expecting comedy on the street. Like I could just yell comedy and people would come by, you know, like a place like this, like I've done barking in Albuquerque. I got random people off the street and they ended up being terrible. You know what I mean? Like
what happened?
I think it really, that's a great story. I accidentally produced a show at a weed had just become legal in Albuquerque. And I was doing this joke where I was like, turquoise, better watch out, green's in town. No one thought that shit was funny. And this guy called me and he was like, hey, what do you need for the show? And I didn't know what he was talking about, but I was just like, I want to play along like I know.
Where was it at?
It was, I'll have to look it up on an old flyer. It was like downtown. It was in a warehouse that was totally illegal. And this guy showed up as Towley from South Park. But he called me, and I swear to God, he was the highest person in the world on the phone. And he was like, what do you need for the show? And I was like, just like some chairs, like lights, like a mic would be cool. Like, I hope you have some speakers, And I was like, could you send me the venue and the date again? Like, my bad, blah, blah, blah. He was like, yeah, I'm really happy to have you producing. And I was like, shit, I'm producing? So, like, we're only a couple days away. I'm, like, sending ads, doing all this crazy shit. And I barked people on the street. And I got this guy that was like, I was like, it's BYOB. He was like, perfect. I brought a bottle of Jameson. And I was like, that should have been we had such a back and forth that the people in the venue thought that I knew him. So when he stood up as a 6'4" man and just passed the fuck out at 220 pounds, they were like, what are you going to do about your friend? And I was like, well, there's a bunch of tapestries on the wall. Like, we can just roll them up or whatever. And then I got his phone out. I put his finger on it. I called a bunch of people. His brother answered. And I was like, hey, this guy's passed out. I think you know him. And he was like, not again. And it was crazy. And Towley was like, I'm leaving. And my friends were like, we should go. And I was like, guys, I don't know how this happened, but I technically produced this show, and I feel very responsible for what's going on right now.
That's funny. Holy shit.
Okay, but with marketing.
Yeah.
So I did the no demographics. Google, okay, what you need to understand about social media versus Google is that search engine people are looking for it, right? So you only want key terms and things that you just want comedy, this date, you know what I mean? Like, you're looking for it, it's here. It's likely they're looking an hour before the show, you know what I mean? Like, what can we do tonight? Like, that's why you want it on Google that bad. And then social media is for people that don't know that they want to do that. They're not searching for it, you know what I mean? And I honestly think that the best strategy that I can come up with so far is just seeing the same ad over and over and over again.
Well, that's a marketing thing, right? Where it's like someone who's brand new to a product in general,
Yeah.
they have to see it at an average of 7 times before they buy it.
Yeah.
Right? So that
For
makes
sure.
perfect sense.
And I don't think you should ever run an ad with a flyer. It's always like a minute clip or just somebody's face or like, I honestly, best trick in the world, hot girls laughing. Get a photographer in here, have them photograph chicks while they're fucking,
For sure.
while they're in the audience. That is the best ad I think I've ever run. It's just a picture of hot girls laughing. That's it. I'll send you some.
Yeah, yeah. Fuck
I don't give a shit. I'm not like a gatekeepy kind of person. Like, anyone that's ever asked me, I used to have like a marketing plan sheet. Actually, I have a degree in business. I have another degree in marketing.
Well, it's clear that you have a like an analytical mind for this kind of stuff.
Where I'm just like, let's make it work. I don't know. Like, I'm just obsessed with not having a job. Like, I hate showing up to the same thing every day. And anytime I've ever lived anywhere, like Austin was the most recent place, because you were like, do you ever stay anywhere for a while? I stayed there for like 6 months, not consecutively, but, pretty home basey for a little bit.
Yeah.
I was living in a trailer in someone's backyard. It was awesome. And she was letting me throw parties there. I was making money. It was good. But I make way more money on tour. And like I said, like, you can produce all the shows you want. Maybe you'll do well. You can tour all you want, but you're not going to make shit without merch. You're not going to survive.
The best analogy that I've heard it put, there was a comic that came into town who knows some people here. That's how I met him, was we threw him a guest spot on the show, and he did really well. His name's Lloyd Lee. I think he's out of L.A. now. But we were talking while the headliner was up. We were in the back, and he was like, if you're going to keep doing this and you guys are serious about this, you and AJ, treat this like a fucking pro wrestler. All of the stuff you do up there, that is not necessarily marketing. How did he put it? He was like, that pushes merch. Make fucking merch. Make it available.
Yep.
If they like you up there, they'll support you back here.
Yep.
Do it.
They won't even care what you have.
And I was like, fuck yeah, let's do it.
Yeah. They'll be like, a t-shirt. Who gives a shit,
Yeah.
And another thing with merch is, if you do t-shirts, don't offer different cuts and different colors and shit, because people will be like, I wish it was that color with this color and this, and then I really, really should have this and that. Just black, same thing. Put your website on it, in a place that doesn't make it look obnoxious, and you're always just selling advertisements. It's amazing.
Yeah.
And if you wouldn't wear the shirt yourself, don't sell it, because no one's gonna wear it.
Yeah, for sure.
No one's gonna wear it. Like, I used to have shirts that said "clean your shower," which is very funny. Like, and the act that I used to do back then that was like one of the major punchlines, and like people still text me this day like I'm cleaning my shower right now. And it didn't really sell, but it was very funny, and people who love the act would just buy it and leave. Like they didn't care what it was. They're just like, let me give you money.
Merch is an early piece of advice that I got with the podcast.
Yeah.
And I'll be real, I don't, and for reasons I don't know, even like right now as I'm talking about it, I don't know why I got so lazy about it. But in the beginning, I was like, okay, I don't really have a budget for merch, but I know someone that can make me decent stickers for a cheap price.
Yeah.
And I'll do my best to personalize and like make it real, like, because I really am, even right now, I'm very thankful for everyone that bought. And I had like 50 stickers sold out like that.
Yeah.
And I was like, fuck yeah, we'll do it again. 50 more sold out like that.
Which is crazy. Sorry, go ahead.
And then like maybe like a year and a half went by, and I was like, I have some more money now. I'm gonna do shirts, and I bought some shirts, and I was like, hey, I'm selling these shirts, and I had a bunch of DMs, be like, yeah, when are you gonna? And I just never put them up for sale, like a fucking idiot.
So two things. One is I'm grateful that the stickers sold, because usually what I tell people is I'm like, get stickers for free, tell people that they're free, and then it brings them to your merch table. Because like a lot of times I like to set up at the venue where they have to see me on the way out, you know? But if you don't, you can be like, yo, I got free stickers, I got toilet paintings, come check out the paintings, come get a free sticker, you know? And then usually you can like talk them into something, whatever.
Yeah.
And then what was the second thing you said? I was going to harp on that as well. Oh, with the t-shirts. Do you know what drop shipping is?
I know the basics of it.
Yeah.
Like from what I understand is like you find a product that is selling well on Amazon or whatever online store. You get the basic version of it. You create a affiliate thing for it.
That's different.
Oh, okay.
So affiliate marketing is great. If you should definitely use it for your podcast. You get an affiliate link, and then like, for example, if you get approved for an Amazon affiliate link and someone clicks on it from your site, you get 7% of everything they buy for the next 30 days.
Interesting.
That's what affiliate marketing is. You can go on shareasale.com. You can get all the links you want. Amazon does it themselves. Anyway,
Say it one more time.
Share a sale.
Okay.
Yeah, you can. I mean, for like blogs and stuff, like you want these links to. It's a whole thing. What I'm suggesting to you, drop shipping is when you get a product, you put it on your website, and then you sell it as if it is your own. If somebody buys it, that order goes to the third-party company, and it goes to them without ever touching it, right? So that's drop shipping. What I'm suggesting is called print on demand, and that's drop shipping, but you created the project, right? The product. So I do print on demand for rugs. I sell puddle rugs. It's puddlerugs.com.
What's a puddle rug?
It's amazing. I take pictures of puddles all over the world, and I sell them on rugs. I have one with the Eiffel Tower in it. It's like pretty great. It's puddlerugs.com, not puddle rug. That fucker keeps trying to sell me the domain. But
That's so,
I do
just
it
the
with like
idea-
shirts and stuff too.
I'm just imagining my little condo that I have in front of my couch. I have a rug that's a puddle. That's hilarious.
Yeah, no, they look wet. They're really cool. They're mostly bath mats and bath mat sizes, but
Yeah.
they're really wonderful.
That's legit.
But if somebody orders them, I don't have the rugs, right? Somebody else, like I've seen them. They look amazing. I love them in person so much more.
Right. It's like a
than I
creation
ever loved
upon
the
order
picture.
kind of thing.
Exactly.
Okay.
So you can do this with your shirts online. You just need to, I use Printiful. There's also Printify. Printiful only has rugs. Printify doesn't. But you can use any of these websites and hook them up to your website. You just have to be ready to pay a little bit of money, and when they fuck up, which they do like every 10 to 15 orders. But I write a return policy that's like remorse is not, and if they don't have a legitimate reason, I won't refund them because I'm not, I don't have any money. But it's cool. Like I do it all off PayPal credit. So it'll take out the credit, and then when I get paid for it, I'll pay off the credit, and then I just make it's funny, like I've had videos go viral that weren't part of my account, and I didn't know, like I would see oh, I'm making a lot of sales right now. I have no idea what's happening. And then someone would tag me in this video, and I'm like, oh, that's why.
And that was like somebody taking your stuff and like reposting it on different.
Which I'm totally cool with because
Right,
I'm still
right.
killing it. Like,
Right,
I
yeah.
don't give a shit.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, and I'm definitely special ready. Like my hour, like I've built on top of it now. I might even have 30 extra. I don't know. I have never like rewritten another hour, but I have like a solid one that has like callbacks, and I've really thought about it.
Right.
I'm really proud of it, and I really wanted to sell it so that I could use the money to like concentrate on writing another hour. But now I'm to a point where I'm like, bitch, you just need to like write and just get rid of it, and like the money that you're gonna make through selling stuff as having these things as reels. Like I'm so proud of it, and I'm gonna have a book in an hour at the same time. And I'm like, why won't a company pick me up and buy this shit so it can help me distribute it?
Where do you want to shoot your hour? If you could pick where you want to shoot it, where would it be?
You know, I've been thinking about that a lot. I'd love to do an hour at Burning Man, but I can't get everyone on my team to be cool with me doing that. It's like, Burning Man is so much work, like so much work, that just adding something like that on top of it, you really need like a team of people behind you that are like, yes, we want to do this.
Yeah.
And that's what happened last year, because I was like, I'm going to film a special, but then it was like, there's so much extra work, and it's like, no one else is really down for that right now. And you're like, okay, that's fine. So then I was thinking about it. I'd probably do it in my home in Baltimore. I wouldn't mind doing it in Asia. It'd probably be better because I'd talk a lot slower. It's just the truth. Like, because anytime you do international, like,
yeah,
no matter how slow you think you're talking, talk slower. So it would be cool to do it in Asia. I mean, like, I owe everything to Asia, you know? So, like, you know, and a lot of the jokes probably wouldn't make sense because it's very, like, to their culture presented.
I was going to ask that earlier when we were talking about it. How do you change or tailor or, you know, just adapt your set to, because it's one
This is a really good question.
You know, it's one thing to do it between like in the States where it's like maybe a more conservative, more liberal, more neutral, whatever, but a whole other continent with different cultures.
What I meant by like people wouldn't get it is like, I don't think it would translate well on TV because of all the specific things that I would be doing that only applied to there. This is a great question though. One, when you're doing international crowds, no matter how slow you think you're talking, talk slower. It's their second language.
Right.
And I talk really fast, you know?
Yeah.
And my act is this is pronunciated. This is slow. And then, you know what I mean? Like, that's how I want to come across, is like up and down and all over the place.
Is that conscious?
Yeah, for sure. But when
For what reason?
I like the change of pace, because when you do an hour, like, I fancy myself very entertaining. You know what I mean? But I've been inspired by a lot of people that I've seen. Like, I've seen someone who's very funny do an hour, and I get a little bored because they're like not really doing anything. You know, you're just like, okay, like you're funny, but like, and then I saw this one guy do an hour, and it looked like a fucking movie, man. He was just doing like all impersonations all over the place, and that's not me. I don't really do impersonations, but I like doing more act outs and more into it and more like in depth and like just trying to like capture people, you know?
Well, in your opinion, what do you think that is? Because like we brought up Justin earlier, where he's so good, and he stays.
But I don't think he was always like that
in
right?
one spot. Honestly, I don't know, because like he's so
I don't know
clearly
either.
like he's in the one spot doing the one thing in his cadence, but his writing is so tight,
so good,
and so clear. And whether you're like a new listener or you're a fan, you're like hanging on every word because you're waiting to see where it turns into the evil, right?
Yeah.
And then you have somebody like one of my other favorites, one of my best friends, his dad, when we were in, I think like sophomore year of high school, he showed us Christopher Titus. And he's one of my favorites to this day because he is so animated and just out there, and he's so langy and like stringy and just like he's like a comedic Gumby. Like he's just out there, and the way he does it. And in my own like writing of material and trying to figure out how to execute it properly, it's like I've recognized that if you stay at the same tone, you can bore people. You're completely right. And so it's like it's good to change the cadence and change
it's not even like boring them. It's just like your brain's just like, oh, this is just the same thing.
Exactly. Audience's brains kind of like tune you out, and you kind of become the like if you watch the Peanuts cartoon where the adults are talking like you kind of turn into that.
Yeah.
So for you, was it like I need to keep the attention of the audience, or this is how my personality comes out?
This is how my personality comes out. That's how I am in regular life. I also do a lot of dark jokes, and I really enjoy I have like an awkward kink. I actually went to therapy for it because I would like meet guys that like can't talk to me and I like love them. And then it would be fucked up because when they're like not, when we're like into it, they're like, we're cool now. And I'm like, no, I like the awkwardness. So then I would make things awkward. And that's not fair to anybody. So I like had to stop doing that. But I think part of the cadence.
Can I ask you a weird question?
Please.
What was the breaking point or the like whatever it was that made you want to go to therapy for that?
Okay, well, it was actually kind of serendipitous because I was like seeing this person that specialized in it for other reasons. And then she pointed it out. That was like a major problem.
Wait, say that again. You were seeing somebody that specialized
I was seeing someone that specialized in sex therapy.
Okay.
For other reasons. And she was the one that pointed it out.
That you have
that I have an awkward kink.
Did you say that verbatim?
Yes. And she was not, I was like, when it happened, it like all made sense. You know what I mean? Like, it like, I was like, oh my God, you're right. Like all my relationships like fail because of that. Like,
you're the nicest predator I've met.
Yeah, thank you. I feel like I wanted to tell you something about. Oh yeah, okay. So the cadence comes from that, and my opener right now is Sam Groover. He's hilarious, right?
He'll be here tonight.
Yeah,
right? Sick.
And he
damn got an opener and everything.
Just everyone's like, "Can I take you on tour?" I was like, "Fix my bus, bitch," and he did. So I was like, "All right, yeah, I guess I'll take you to Albuquerque." He's very funny, just constant stream of consciousness. He could just say any, like, it's just how he thinks, you know, like he's got like that touch of the tism where everything is like, how is it worded? How can we make this a pun? You know, like his level of quickness in writing, I am envious of. Do I think my jokes are better? Yes. Do I think he writes way faster than me? Also, yes. But I told him that. I was like, listen, you're hilarious, but you're at the same here the whole way across, and like I love you, and even when you're saying like I get bored, like I was like, you're great, but if you want to do an hour, like you got to switch it up a little bit. And then last night he did an accent, and he's like really good at impersonations, and I was like, that's your thing, like you should switch in and out of that to just kind of shock people a little bit, to just kind of like move in and out. And he's very new to comedy, like he's in his first 6 months, and he's so good.
But what like not breaks the mold, but like what separates between like someone that can keep an audience's attention staying at the same like BPM almost, and then someone like him was like, hey, you gotta, in your opinion,
maybe maybe to different audiences they would love that. You know what I mean? Like maybe like what I'm saying to him is wrong. I tell him all the time, take everything I say with a grain of salt. And I was like, also find a better headliner than me. Not like, you know, but like that's getting better gigs at clubs, and go offer to drive them around. You know what I mean? Like you'd be doing so much better. Like I'm not who you want as a fucking person to follow. You know what I mean? Like you got to get your shit together. But I don't know what separate. Like you'd have to ask Anthony Jeselnik, I guess. That's
fair. Okay, wait. So I'm sorry. What was like the if you don't want to talk about it? It's cool.
No, it's fine.
But like what was there like a moment where? Because you say like your therapist brought it up, but what was there like the revelation of it, or was it just her saying it? That was just
it was her saying it. That was the revelation. That was like everything is coming into perspective.
Fair enough.
And I was like, you're right, because I described my last few relationships, and they were always with like, just like tech dudes that just can't leave their computer and like talk to me, and I like loved that shit. And then when we get comfortable, I would start putting them in very awkward positions to try to keep that going. No, like I want like. I just like awkward shit.
Okay,
like
I
like building that on stage. Like I think where I'm at in stand up now is like you can be as good as you want. Like I've had great shows. It's like kind of hard to bomb now because like I just don't care.
Damn.
Well, like if you don't care and you know you're bombing, then you're like, okay, well this is about me now. And like this show might suck, but like I'm gonna have a great time, and one person is gonna buy some fucking merch because they're gonna be like that. Like I did a show once in North Carolina in. Not Raleigh, but the place next to it that they don't like being called Raleigh, Durham. And I did a show in Durham, and it was like freezing cold outside. Nobody came. There were 7 people at the bar that didn't know that a show was going on. Everyone was supposed to do 20 minutes. And no one did it because there was no one at the bar and no one cared. And the guy was like, listen, I have to fill this time to get paid. If you do an hour, I'll just split it with you. And I was like, yeah, no, who gives a shit? And no one liked it. You know what I mean? Like nobody wants to be a part. Like they didn't know a show was coming. They don't want some chick yelling about her vagina and all her dead friends. You know what I mean? Like, that's not their thing, right? And it was so funny because one guy in that crowd, like, didn't even look up. He ended up buying a painting online for like $2,000 later.
Jesus.
He commissioned it to. He was like, he followed me on Twitter. He was like so into it. He was like, you were hilarious. Like, nobody cared. Like, you didn't give a shit that nobody cared. Like, you were just like,
well,
bitch, I'm getting paid.
Didn't you look?
Who cares? You didn't sign up for that. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You didn't pay for it. I can't force you to do it. I was like, I'll give everyone in this bar their Me Too moment right now. And like, I was just like, listen, this is how I'm getting paid. Like, I don't care. You know, like, this is just, I'm going to have a good time.
How far into stand-up did you get to the point where you're like, I don't give a fuck? Like this, I think it's, from what you're describing, it's a healthy not give a fuck attitude, but how long did it get you to get to that point where you are, if it is what you're describing?
I don't think it was time. I think it was things.
Because you're like truly comfortable not giving a shit.
Like, I think it was things. Because, like, I don't know, like, it was it was situations that did that, not time. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
my
yeah, for
grandfather
sure.
died. I had a show. My parents are like, don't cancel. This is what you want to do. Don't cancel. We're already here. We'll just come, you know? Because my parents know that I've explained it to them that, like, I can't flake on anything because I'm never around and I already, like, basically don't exist. And if I add flaky to that, like, no one will ever hire me. You know what I mean? Like, I can't, if the only thing I have right now is my word. You know what I mean?
I don't exist, but I'm a trustworthy motherfucker.
You just have to try to be.
Yeah.
So they were like, listen, don't cancel on the show. We'll go. And then I did the whole show just about my grandfather. And it was really funny. And it was actually a time when my parents, like, before that were like, you should get a job. And after that, they were like, you should write more. You should probably, like, be more on it. Like, you should get more shit. And then they're like, we'll come to your show. Are you doing an hour? And I'm like, yeah. They're like, is it the same hour? I'm like, well, I've switched some stuff. Like, I think like 15 minutes of it is new. And they'll be like, call us when it's 30. You know what I mean? And I think it's like shit like that. Like, my friend died and I had to, like, go do a show, or like just things that make you not care. You know, like bombing in front of people at the dirt. Like, I did the Dirty at 12:30 once. I did amazing. I did it again. I had something unfortunate happen to me, and I decided to talk about it, and I did a bunch of rape jokes in front of 200 people, and they hated it. You know what I mean? And that was gut-wrenching. This guy that I knew followed me around the venue afterwards to tell me how much I bombed and that I needed to know that I bombed. Because he didn't do comedy, and it's, like, so in his head, and he, like, is so obsessed with it that he was like, you need to know that you did bad. I'm like, yeah, dude, I know I did bad.
A guy you were friends with?
Yeah, he's insane, but I still love him. He's got his downfalls. You know what I mean? We all do.
I thought I would say he had Down syndrome.
Yeah, he does have a touch of the tism.
He just following you around just saying that.
I mean, it was pretty bad. But something like that just takes you to a place of, like, how could I ever care? You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, I totally get
and
that.
I tell people sometimes, they're like, I'm nervous. And I'm like, think about everything horrible that's ever happened in your life. Then you probably won't give a single fuck. And then they're like, that's terrible advice. I'm like, yeah, you're not wrong.
No, I think that's pretty fucking solid advice.
I mean, it puts you in a really bad headspace, but it will make you not give one single fuck.
Well, I mean, I really do. And it's come up in the last couple of episodes, but one of my favorite quotes from Rogan is that the worst thing that's happened to you is the worst thing that's happened to you. And I think that's a really good way to look at life. And it's like,
I like Mike Tyson's everyone's got a plan till they get punched in the face.
Exactly. Yep. Exactly that too. And I think that, you know, it helps you, for me at least, it helps me put people in perspective, and it helps put myself in perspective, where it's like, okay, yeah, I have not had the worst of life dealt to me yet, but
it's coming.
I know it is, trust me. But I've had some things happen where I'm like, all right, fuck. And one of the most profound things that was horrible in the moment, but I've learned from now, was I just took, and I think what helped with it was self-induced. I took way too many mushrooms, and I took 8 grams, and it was and it was bad. It was really bad for a long time. But then a lot of my, like, religious beliefs came into it too, because I was just like, where my brain immediately associated to was like, okay, I believe that hell is real, and I believe that what I just experienced was like a percentage of what hell probably is. Life ain't that bad.
Yeah.
Life is not that bad.
I mean, everything puts things in perspective, you know? And it's like, in comedy, what you're going to find, the more that you do it, and the more opportunities you get, and the better things get, they don't really get better. Like, for example, one time in North Carolina, I do really well there. I really love that place. There's a small town called Fayetteville, North Carolina. Vietnam, shout out, love that place.
Yeah, it's where I have a couple buddies that were stationed down there.
Nice.
Yeah.
There's a bar there called Patty's. Love that dude. They don't pay very much, but they give you a banging Airbnb, and I always have a super line for merch, and I've always made a lot of money there. And I sold out that bar so many times that someone was doing comedy out there offered for me to do a theater. And I got to do my first 200-person theaters a few years ago. And then the next day, I went to Murrells Inlet in Myrtle Beach and went to a biker bar and just had to scream insults at bikers the whole time that wouldn't, eventually they got quiet, but it took a while. And that's how comedy is. You can be doing as good as you want, but you can't tell me that it doesn't go back to being I don't even want to say bad because I kind of low-key love shouting at bikers, but I just want to mean in life, it gets great, it gets bad again. It gets great, it gets bad again. Yeah. That's exactly what stand-up has been like.
It's not all comedy clubs and theaters and rooms that are set up perfect for comedy.
I rarely get comedy clubs. They rarely take me. I can go to Montana or Mosimo, Ohio. Those people take me any day. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But to get into a comedy club, I have no idea what it takes. I have an amazing act. I get a ton of people to come. If I try, right? If I'm I'm getting a percentage and even now, I have a little bit of online credit, just the smallest amount, but I'll get one or two people a show in Taos, New Mexico. That's crazy. You know what I mean?
I get you.
But in the town of DC that has an amazing comedy scene, most of the clubs won't let me in, which is crazy because I bring at least 20 to 50 people because I'm from there. People will show out for that shit. My act is good. People will show the fuck out. Can I get booked there? No. Which is wild.
I got to be honest. That's borderline cathartic to hear because I did the club. It's right up there in the casino, and I did well. And not only they have it on tape, but it was my first major because I did Dry Heat a few times before that. But big club. It's my first time. Mm-hmm. I still don't know how the fuck I got booked there, but I still got booked. I did well. And I know I did well because the fucking booker told me I did well. Mm-hmm. The headliner told me I did well. And apparently they conversed and was like, hey, kid's good, book him again. Up until a week and a half ago, didn't hear from him. And I'm very happy to do it. Don't get me wrong. I'm very happy to go back there for this competition they're doing.
Yeah.
But it's I was emailing, hey, can I fucking whatever? It is what it is. Emailing hyenas. That just opened up absolutely fucking nothing. Mm-hmm. It's just I'm still going to be persistent. Until they email me back saying, hey, stop emailing, I'm going to keep fucking emailing.
Just put it on an automation.
Right.
That's what I do.
I'm about to.
I love it.
That's a great idea.
Well, I don't know if you're ready for that. Yeah, I do.
But you get my point.
It doesn't make any sense, and you have to put blinders on or just do your own thing.
Where it's I don't know.
I'm not mad about DC. Yeah. I mean, in some sense, yes, because I would love to live with my family and be close to the people I grew up with. Most of them are gone. But it would be so sick to be home. But no one's going to hire me there. There's a lot of Eastern Shore, I do really well. Baltimore has been amazing. And there are places in DC that will take me that are awesome, but the clubs will not. Even the guy who owns the Improv used to come to my mic and do it. He's seen me do stand up. He's seen me kill at the Improv. Still won't book me. He's what's
that saying though, where it's the last place you'll become truly famous is your hometown?
Maybe, but every time I have a bar show there, I get 100 people. Why the fuck wouldn't you want that?
Okay,
in your
fair
club?
enough. I got nothing for you then. I got nothing.
Oh, can I tell you something really funny though before we go?
We still got time.
Nice.
Yeah.
I was doing my hometown, legit. I'm from kind of a small town in between DC and Baltimore. I'm from technically Gaithersburg, but I went to Damascus High School. It's a very small town. And I was doing an hour there, and I told my dad, I can't really skip a lot, and I've never done jokes about all my dead friends, to the people that knew them. And my dad was like, Jesus wasn't well liked in his hometown either. And I was like, damn, Dad. Were you just waiting for that?
Yeah, say Dad's a fucking sage, man.
Yeah. What time is the show tonight?
It's going to be, okay, so it's advertised to be at 8. We typically start at about 8:15, 8:20.
That makes sense, yeah.
Yeah. Well, because I was saying, I think we definitely still have some time, because it's only 7:15, I think.
Yeah.
Right? It's 7:15, but AJ ain't showing up yet. He's showing up till 7:30 usually.
Yeah.
But that's, it's a good way to look at it.
Yeah. I don't know. So just like kind of do whatever you want. It's not a paint by numbers thing, you know? It's a blank canvas, and a lot of people just don't consider quality of life when they're doing it, and then they just kind of get lost in doing open mics so constantly that they just don't even have like material to go from or like a life to really call back to. And
Well, after everything you just described, what is your barometer, I guess, your standard for like a quality of life doing all this?
that's a great question. Well, for me, it's like I know now that if I stay in one place, I'm not going to make as much money. And if I'm really happy there and I can afford it, sure, I'll like hang out for a while. But as far as like standard of quality of life, I no longer live in cars I can't stand up in. That's been a major shift in my life.
Hey, we're talking about upgrades here.
Yeah,
That's awesome.
yeah.
There you go.
That was huge because like this is like my 5th van, I think.
Is your van all fucking decked out or what's up?
It's like 70%. See, the thing is like once I got it's a bus, like it's like a handicap transport bus. It's the short bus. Once I got it, I was like, wow, quality of life. Like I'm going to set up festivals. Like I can fit so much shit in this. Like I'm going to just be my own self-sustained thing. And I became the most unself-sustainable I've ever been in my life because I became a diesel mechanic and I don't really know I didn't really know what I'm doing. Now I have a good idea. And it was like I had to rely on so much other people, and I stopped touring so much, and I serendipitously ended up in Austin because of that. And yeah, it's been quality of life changes constantly, but I like to think of it as like the human experience is suffering, right? Like
Yes.
that's what we're all doing.
Yes.
And then if you can say that like I like my problems, it's like a real privilege.
Yeah. Well, I like.
So
Yes.
for me to say, like, one time I cried hysterically in Oklahoma in Margaritas Island's parking lot because I didn't have enough money to leave Oklahoma. And I called a bunch of people and was like, hey, can I do comedy at your event? And this guy was having a rap show, said yes. And they didn't even turn off, like, the smoke machine or the laser beams for me to talk. But I made, like, $500 in merch that night.
There you fucking
and I
go.
fucking left. And I was like, I
Yes.
love my problems, baby. Like,
So I agree with you about everything you just said.
Thank you.
Right. I think that. I think 2 parts to that. A, yes, life is suffering, and I think it's a good thing. And B, I think the pursuit of happiness is.
it's fleeting.
It's fleeting. It's fickle.
What's the point?
It's not real. Like it's real in theory, right?
Yeah.
And it's very endless. Like you're not going to reach any destination just because how our brains are wired and just everything. Anyway, but I don't know. I just think I had a point with this. I had a point.
Do you agree with
Oh
everything you
yeah.
say
So
that
the
brains are
problem,
fickle?
the problems you have, because I ran into this because we're in 25 right now. About 3 years ago, I ran into this where I realized that because me and my chick had split up for a bit, and I was the reason, for sure.
Yeah.
And like it takes 2 to tango. Like it takes people to end a relationship, but I'd say it's 75-25 me her. And
That's pretty aware and growth.
yeah, and I knew that. Thankfully, I knew that, and I didn't want to recognize it, and I didn't want to deal with it in the moment. But like I didn't want to acknowledge it in the moment, but I recognized it. And as I was dealing with it, I was like, okay, I need to take a fucking real analysis of what is going wrong in my life. And just for a round number, 9 out of the 10 issues in my life were my fault.
Wow.
And I was like, okay, I can fix me. Like if I actually work at it, and obviously we're all still working at that kind of stuff
Yeah.
and like trying to figure all that out.
It's pretty huge, dude.
But yeah, I was like, okay, if I can fix this, and in the pursuit of that, 70% of the 90% of my issues in life that are my fault are gonna get taken care of. That ain't a bad batting average.
Yeah.
You got to get 30% to be in the Hall of Fame.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't think that's a good problem to have.
Really? It's
Lord,
just 30%?
yeah, because it's like what? It's 3 out of 10 hits get you on
I think you
base.
should teach a class for men.
No, because that's
Because
gay.
they can't.
That's gay.
They can't recognize things as their
But you see
fault.
what I'm saying? It's like
Yeah.
if the problems in your life are caused by you,
Yeah.
and you have not even the ability, but you have you at least have an idea of how to fix you, you're on the right path.
Well, that's
Lord
the thing.
forbid, like, I started to cut you off, but like,
No.
Lord forbid that, like, if it was flipped and 9 out of the 10 issues in my life aren't because of me and I can't affect those, you're really fucked. Like, you
Exactly.
are really
No.
fucked.
I think that, like, the human brain loves problem solving, you know, like whether that came from evolution and all the problems that we dealt
Yeah,
with.
for sure.
Or if that's part of reaching consciousness. I don't know. But what I do know is that if you don't have problems, your brain will create them.
Yeah, well, I was going to say exactly.
If you're not challenging yourself, if you're not moving, you're going to experience things that are you're going to have problems no matter what.
Well, that's an issue at large that a lot of people, because of how well off America has it, even right now with everything that's going on
Oh,
and
yeah.
everything that's in flux.
For sure.
A product of America being so off in comparison to the rest of everybody else is that if we don't have problems, we create them.
Yeah.
That's why you have so many people, and I'm not attaching this to one thing or another, but that's why I have so many people that have literally no attachment to a social issue, finding reasons to attach themselves to it, and then they make themselves feel bad that this thing is happening for outside of just basic human remorse.
I know.
This,
yeah.
and then you create problems for yourself, then you get into a victim
I
mentality.
don't even want to get into that. I'm going to get in trouble on the
Yeah.
internet.
You
Yeah.
spiral down, and
Yeah.
it's not good. Like, I promise you, if you do a real, like, hey, what is going great in my life, what's going okay, and what's going bad, you will find enough issues and enough things to clean in your shower. You'll find enough of those in your own life without having to leave your house.
Yeah.
I fucking guarantee it.
I know. No, it's true. And, like, if you take time to work on your problems, sometimes I feel like that's where depression comes from, you know, where you start thinking about, like, the amount of water that you have to drink for the rest of your life or the amount of problems that you're going to have to solve. And there are a lot of religions that believe that, like, death is the cure-all. Like, it's, like, celebrated because they get to be free from all of the problems and things that we have. But
I just rewatched Midsummer like a week ago.
Nice. Yeah.
And I hadn't watched it since it was in theaters. And I was like, yeah, like, I don't agree with most of these things that this cult is fucking doing, but, like, I get the choosing your death instead of, like, you know, just dying of rot and old age. Just, you know what? What was it, 73, 75? They throw themselves off the cliff?
You can really talk yourself into anything if you really try. Like, I try.
Well, humans, you're talking about shitty men. Just put into relationships. People do that all the time, where they talk them and convince themselves into a narrative that they believe is right.
I'm not saying that women aren't shitty. I'm just saying I have more fun with them. That's all. Like, sure, they're shittier, but, like, it's a good time, you know? Like, you can really direct that
That's why
crashing train into anywhere, and she's just fun. It's just my personal experience. Like, I just have a better time. That's all.
I think that's why a lot of dudes are afraid to be gays. They know it'd be a lot quieter relationship.
Yeah.
Just you and your dog just chilling.
Yeah. It does sound nice. They're also more open to polyamory. Do you do polyamory?
Fuck no.
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 I've I've never experienced a person who didn't use polyamory as like a, you know, I'm just not a good person, you know. And I have a lot of friends that practice polyamory that are good people and have healthy relationships and, like, with multiple people and are killing it. But, like, I cannot find one fucking person that I'm, like, willing to stand long enough to be like,
I want to add another to this equation.
yeah, I mean, it sounds emotionally exhausting, first of all.
Well, yes. Yes. And again, this is for me anyway, this is the definition of outside looking in. But, like, I look at a situation like that, and I'm like, okay, how deep of a connection are you actually getting? Because I'm a big believer in, like, if you're in a relationship, you only have, so like the relationship with self, it's a challenge to give yourself 100% of yourself. Okay. Then, if you're in a relationship with another person, and it's one-on-one, and you're but you're giving them whether it's your time, your attention, you're draining energy either way, you're giving them, you know, you take a step further, it's like intimate sexual energy, all that stuff, and you're pouring into one person. That can be, it's a good challenge, it can be a good hardship, but it's tough enough. right? But in that
You
way,
have to have the perspective that it's worth it.
right? Exactly. And but you're also the thing is though you're not only pouring into that person. If you're only pouring into that person, you're not getting anything back. It's toxic. It's bad. Whatever.
Yeah.
But they're pouring back into you. You feel nourished, so your cup never goes dry, and it's this good circle of things.
Yeah.
But then you add another person to that, you're taking away from what you're having with this person because you have to give to this other person, and it just becomes
Okay,
this
so I'm about to blow your mind.
death trap. It becomes a death trap.
Well, here's the thing. One is that
It's like, how deep can it really get?
I hear you. I know a lot of people that have done really well with it, but also you have to think about. Okay, I'm also not arguing for it. Like, I can't even find one person. You know what I mean? Like, I am not fucking advocate. I actually have a joke.
Maybe you start with 2 and whittle down to 1.
Dude, I know. I have a joke that I want monogamy to come on my chest. You know what I mean? Like, it's like, I'm not advocating for this, but I would like to say a lot about it. First of all, do you know that DNA, we're closely related, our closest relationship to another mammal is the bonobo monkey?
I knew it was a monkey, but I didn't
It's the bonobo monkey. Do you know about the bonobo monkey?
No.
They have sex for pleasure with anybody and everybody. And they don't give a single fuck who it is. Pre-World War I, we were all living like multi-generational houses, right? We were all.
Right.
Do you know why the dick has a mushroom tip on it?
Yes, actually. Yes. No, I do. It's like the theory behind it is that it's an evolutionary what's the right word? Like it's an evolutionary thing that happened because it's meant to like when it's meant to like when you bust and then you like scrape out the other like,
guy's cup.
semen or whatever, right? Is that right?
Yeah. Because like biologically, we were supposed to live like that. We were supposed to live in fucking tribes. We weren't supposed to live in single family homes.
And the idea is like you need to be the alpha guy to procreate, so you're scraping
That's
out
on a
all
biological level. You know what I mean? But like
Yeah.
socially, like we
brought up the mushroom tip thing.
Yeah,
so that's
yeah.
why it's,
No.
yeah.
And that's what I'm saying. Like that happened biologically because socially, that's what we were always doing, right? Like it's not. I can't. Outside of religion and stuff, and like I'm not a historian. I don't know everything about everything. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Hey, you're on a podcast in a bar.
I'm 2 Dos Equis deep right now, and I believe that everyone should be fucking. No, I'm just kidding. Honestly, and it's funny because like I'm not a hugely sexual person, right? And like a lot of people see my act and they'll say like really gross things to me, and I love it because I think it's hilarious because I love the underbelly of society.
Oh, so you also had the awkward kink.
I love the awkward kink, the worst parts of people, man. I love it. It's sick, but I'm really into it. And it just kind of feels like that's what I'm looking for, right? It's just like the weirdest parts of society. And I would love to share my life with somebody, but I've never met anybody that's like down to do what I'm doing that I actually want to hang out with. You know what I mean? Like all the time. Like I love Sam, my opener, but I was like, bro, we can't be living in a bus together. Like I love you, but I don't want to see you 24 hours a day. Yeah. I mean, like other people have jobs and shit, you know? Like I want to see you when he was like, you can just tell me when to fuck off. I was like, nah, man, I want to tell you when I want to hang out. Okay? Like I don't want to, you know? And like it would be nice to
understanding that you're fucking off.
Yeah. Like you're always fucking. I'll tell you when to not fuck off.
Yeah.
And I've never been able to connect with somebody like that or have that. And I don't like sleep with random people because it just feels like so draining emotionally, and like I'm moving around all the time. It makes me feel like less ungrounded and like less being able to like connect with anybody because I'm like, it's just like you're giving away a part of yourself. And I don't believe that like wholeheartedly. Like I don't think other people are doing that. I just know that's how I feel, you know? And then I'll meet someone who's like, I want to be polyamorous. And I'm like, no, you don't. You just don't want all the worst parts of the relationship with me because I'm a lot and you want to be just put that away when you can.
Well, I think
and that's just my experience.
Well, no, and I think that most people, I think all people, truly, that have had experience in relationships, big or small, if you're being honest with yourself, there is most of what you just said that identifies with everybody.
Yeah.
Nobody, because at the end of the day, nobody wants to feel used.
Yeah.
Nobody wants to feel unheard. Nobody wants to feel unrecognized. Especially by someone that they care about, or someone that they are under the understanding is supposed to care about them. Nobody wants any of that, and I think, especially today, I mean, there's obviously people that are on both sides of it, but there's that chick that fucked 1,000 dudes in a day, chick that fucked 100 dudes in a day, and there's some people that are like, yes, women's lib and blah 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 blah, and there's other people that are like, hey, wait, that's actually crazy. Hang on, can we like
Teach their own, you know?
right? Teach their own for sure.
I would never do that, but that bitch get it.
Right. Well, like no, to each their own, and that's like the libertarian side of me. That's like
Yeah.
genuinely, as long as everyone. Look, do I agree with that? No, but as long as everyone was consenting and everyone was happy doing it, or not happy,
Yeah.
but everyone was
As everyone was clear with their boundaries.
exactly,
Yeah.
and
everyone's
everyone was
consenting.
of sound mind. Do your thing, but I think that being frivolous with yourself in that way. It is empty, and
Yeah.
I think everyone, just like with everything else,
to us, it's empty, not to everybody.
well, that's my thing, though. It's
Yeah.
like everyone has a threshold.
Yeah.
Truly, I believe that everyone has a threshold, whether they want
gotta
to
find
understand
it.
it or not. And I found my threshold. I found it early on. I'm happy that I did, because I know that I'm like, okay, I'm not really about that.
Yeah.
I thought I was at one
Man,
point, but
and like
I'm not.
the weirdest thing that happens to me, honestly, is that I get like fetishized, right? So like people will see me on the internet, and like I've talked to people because like I've had people stalk me, and then I'm like, I move around so much, like if you just want to hang out, like I kind of want to hang
you
out
got
too.
gas money to
like I want
stalk
to,
me.
yeah, like I want to hang out too. You know what I mean? Like I've dated one of my stalkers, like I have,
dude.
because he was already around and he was hilarious, but it was wrong,
Dog.
and I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed it for a while.
What did you enjoy about? Wait,
He was great. He was pretty hot. Like
so
it
you
wasn't
just
bad.
stopped it. So you're like, hey,
He just like kept showing up in cities we're in, and I was like, "Do you want to just hang out?"
there
like,
it is. He was hot, so he got promoted
Exactly.
from stalker
Yeah.
to.
Well, I wouldn't say he was like conventionally attractive. I think like there is a familiarity of seeing someone all the time, but
I feel like your type is like a
I like
toned Michael Cera.
no. Well, if Michael Cera had a neck tattoo, maybe. That's my sign. Anyway, I think I get fetishized a lot by people, and then when they meet me and I'm not the exact cookie cutter of a person that they made me out to be from what they saw on the internet, they get very upset,
They think you're like the
which is strange. Yeah, like
comedian, or
I don't know, like that guy that was stalking me, he was like, when he finally got to know me and got to know that like I haven't had that many partners, or I am very conservative about who I have sex with, despite the fact of talking like a sailor and talking about sex a lot on stage. And I'm not judgmental to other people. Like, you do whatever you want, you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
like, this is what I'm doing. And he was like, in my mind, you were someone that would just like fuck anyone you saw and then ruin their life and then leave with no consequences. And I was like, that's wild, because if I had sex with someone, I would cry a lot about my emotions. And I'd want to be around them constantly, and I'd say weird shit to them. And
that's good though.
yeah, and
That's
like I
good.
know that about myself.
Yeah, that's good.
But like finding someone like that with my lifestyle is impossible. It's like, well, how would you like to move once and whenever I feel like it?
Right.
Would you care if I go to a comedy show every single night?
Right.
Is that cool with you?
Right,
You know what I mean? Like those kind of people and what I'm doing, like don't really like I like to go to Burns at least once a month. I like to take an serious amount of psychedelics and do weird shit. Like, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah.
the things I'm doing and the people that I want to see are very different.
You are whittling down your.
Yeah. But there's 8 billion people.
Yeah.
There's gotta be someone. And I'm not worried if there isn't. I'd rather have the problem of me than somebody else.
Yeah.
I'd rather work on me. I know that's shitty, but
No, it's not. No. There is a healthy amount. We were talking a little bit earlier about delusion. There is a healthy amount of delusion, but there's also a healthy amount of selfishness.
yeah.
And you need that. No, you need. And it's so strange how like today it's like everything is about putting yourself out there and being this person on social media and blah 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 blah. But then if you exert a ounce of caring about yourself, then it's like, oh, you're selfish, you're a blah blah. It's like no. There's a healthy balance of most things like that, and I think a healthy balance gets rid of that first part, and because again, at the risk of sounding generic, you can't pour from an empty cup.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And,
Yeah.
and if you are pouring from your cup, you don't want it to exactly be poisonous.
And it's like just meeting people that you're like, you know how much work they have to do on themselves.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And you're like, I don't want to be the person that's telling you this.
What, you don't
Yeah.
want to be what do they call it? You don't want to be character development for somebody.
Yeah, I've been character development for a lot of people.
Yeah, so have I.
I'm
Yeah.
good. You know what I'm saying?
But I also recognize that I've been character development for other people. That's not a great fucking feeling.
Yeah, that's also fair.
I don't know, man. It's you have a from this conversation, you have a good.
We just met.
Yeah, I know, which is crazy.
Yeah.
You have a good understanding of yourself. Do you feel like you're proud of the understanding that you have of yourself right now?
It took a lot of time and a lot of.
Because you're still young too.
exploration. Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, no, for real, yeah.
I mean, I've lived a lot of life. Like, usually when I tell people all the things that I've done, and I get made fun of a lot because, like, I have trouble relating to people. You know, like, they'll tell me, every roast battle I've ever done has always been someone being like, you tell Trish, like, a mundane story about the grocery store, and she's like, I got sucked off by a ladyboy in Budapest. You know what I mean? Like, it's always, like, something extreme because that's how I relate to it. And I think that the character development came from a lot of, like, dealing with insanely different people all the like. Do you watch Rick and Morty?
I've seen the first 3 seasons. Yeah.
Do I watch it? I've seen half of it.
No, because like I didn't get into like the later parts of it.
Well, I think the
kinda
actual creator Dan or whatever left after
well,
season 3.
he didn't exactly leave.
Oh well, they kicked him out.
Yeah,
anyway,
they kicked him out.
Well,
Yeah,
I didn't want to go into that, but
yeah.
in Rick and Morty, there's a lot of scenes where Rick is like walking through different timelines and dimensions, and people around him are kind of swarming, but they have no idea what he's seen. You know what I mean? Or like what he's been through. And I feel like that often because I'm just like walking through different towns or people or things, and I'm having like a great time. Like, I don't want to make it sound like I don't love what I do.
You clearly love what you do.
Yeah, and I have tons of friends, and I talk to people all the time, and I'm never really alone. But it's like you don't meet other people often. I have met other people that are like me, but you don't meet other people often that can relate on that level.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, and I think part of the character development was trying to not make other people relate. You know? Like, trying not to relate to them was like the biggest part of the character development.
Were you
just
consciously
Yes.
cutting yourself off?
Yes.
Yeah.
Not like in a way that I feel like I'm smaller, but if I want to tell a story and I know that people aren't going to like it, I just write it down. Save it for a fucking book. You know, a podcast, a thing you can write on, a thing where people want it. You know? I think that has been like the biggest arc in who I was when I left the first time and who I am now is I'm not trying to share everything with everyone. I'm not trying to relate to everybody.
Is that why a part of why you enjoy stand-up so much is you get to choose what you're sharing?
Bro, my thing with stand-up now, I think, since I've been writing a book, I think I've been writing less stand-up, and I've been a little shameful with myself about not writing as quickly as I used to. Like, I have great jokes I can keep using, you know what I mean? But it's not progressing as fast as it used to writing-wise because I'm writing other things now. With stand-up now, I'm to a point where, like I said, like, I can bomb my fucking ass off, but I'm still going to have a good time because I'll click it off. I'll be like, okay, guys, we're not into it. We can't do Kegels to change the mood. Fine. Like, I'm just going to have a good time. You enjoy it or not. Someone's going to.
It's the most ridiculous fucking.
Somebody's going to buy a painting eventually. I don't give a shit anymore. But so it's like, you can be as funny as you want. You can say the same stuff over and over again. You can get all the laughs in the world you want, but it doesn't do it for me like building a moment does. A moment that you could never have at any other bar in the world. Because somebody said something, I said a joke differently, we all came to this different point, there was some like tension point that made everyone quiet, I giggled at something I'd never had before. Like, there's something in the live performance aspect that is so tantalizing. Is tantalizing the word? Like,
I think so. I know what you're going for. I think so.
It like really tickles me in a way that nothing else in this world can. Like, I've started so many businesses I didn't care about. I've done so much shit I didn't want to do for money. Like, not like anything like sexual or anything like that I really didn't want to do, but like I've just been down so many avenues and done so many great things that I didn't keep up with because I didn't really care. But like building a moment inside of a weird place that like you could never have anywhere else is that's kind of like it for me in life. Can't find anything better.
Yeah, do you, how do I put this? As you're going over sets, as you're improving and you have those moments, do you keep them where they're at? Or do you learn from those moments and
Always learn.
you know what I mean? Like
I listen to the voice recordings
I'm
constantly.
not saying trying to like recreate those moments.
No,
but like,
I never try to recreate
because I think that's faulty.
But like some people
But-
are like, oh, I have to have a couple beers on stage because I'm more loose. And I'm like, why don't you record yourself like that and then try to act like that? You know, so that you don't become this like mad scientist that's like, I need a few bong rips, I need a couple beers, this is where I'm at, this is my perfect amount of hilarity.
That's exactly what I'm going through right now.
Yeah.
Like literally
Do it sober.
like-
Just do it.
Like last night. Well, that won't be tonight. But
No, not tonight. But
but,
like,
yeah.
don't get in the habit
Yeah.
of do it. Like, if you find yourself in the habit, like maybe not the paid shows, maybe not the things that you have to do, but the most unbearable ones, like the open mics, the fucking things like that. Start going through those without alcohol, right? And then you will come to a place where you're good at it sober, and then you can feel like having a drink is okay. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like, because you don't want to be that guy that's like, I can't not, I'm at a,
Yeah.
you guys don't serve alcohol here? How am I supposed to get on stage?
Yeah,
You know
having
what I
something-
mean? Like,
well, you don't want
you don't want to be that guy.
and broader than that, you don't want something external, like having to be the
Yeah.
key or whatever. And like
Yeah.
literally last night, what I did is I took my last 2 sets where I did well, and I listened to the voice recording and I like broke it down like by timestamp. I was like, okay, this is what the joke was. This is my critique of my own joke. Blah 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 blah. And the most underlining, and I know this has been a problem of mine for a while, and I'm sure you're going to see it tonight, and I'm trying to work on, is that I need to be more lighthearted in my delivery, because I understand how I come off. I typically have a really big beard.
Why don't you just make fun of yourself first and just point that out? And then every time you do it, it's funnier.
Honestly, because I haven't sat down and written jokes about. I've written jokes about my life. and
Yeah, but
I've
you
written-
just said one. Like, I know what I look like.
right, but I haven't
like.
but I haven't like sat down and consciously tried to figure that out.
I find that the pressure of being on stage is what gets me to write the most.
Well, I write, but it's like specifically like about like roasting myself
Yeah.
or like
Oh, you gotta have those in your back pocket.
self-deprecating.
Dude.
Yeah,
You
I
need
know,
'em. Yeah.
but I haven't consciously sat down and done that. But then, a thing I'm trying to remind myself of is to be more present on stage, be more like cognizant and present, and to be lighthearted. Like let the lighthearted in the way of like show the audience. 'Cause I love doing it. I love doing stand-up, but like show the audience.
My
that
mind is
you're-
just like going through roast of you right now.
Yeah.
I'm like, what can we say? Like, don't ask me where I was on January 6th. You already know.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
like shit
right,
like
yeah.
that. Yeah, yeah.
But it's like
What was that truck driver's name that hit all those people in Boston? You could be like, I know I look like his origin story.
but it's like show the audience how much fun I'm having,
Exactly.
like verbally.
Oh.
That's what I'm trying to
I'll
remind
throw
myself
in a little
of.
giggle there every once in a
So,
while.
yeah.
And honestly, you might be at a place where it is still kind of nerve-wracking. You know what I mean? Like, I think what happens with stand-up is that you get to a really comfortable place. And then you start to be like, okay, interrupt me. Like, throw me off my game. Because I know where I'll land. And that's
Yeah,
where,
I
like, you
get
start
you.
doing, like, crowd work and stuff.
I'm not there yet, but I understand what you're saying.
I think you'll get there.
Yeah.
You're going to be fine. I mean, conversationally, you're very funny. And you're letting things flow.
You're very sweet.
And
Thank
I
you.
think that when you get to a really comfortable place, I think what a lot of remember how earlier we were talking about how we start out with dick jokes because it's what we think is funny?
Yeah.
I think once you spend enough time on stage, your actual personality will catch up to your stage personality. And it takes a while.
Okay, I get you.
Yeah,
that makes
it
sense.
takes a while. But once you get there and you get comfortable, it's also a level of I don't give a fuck. You know what I mean? A level of guys, I don't, you know what I mean? Like, if you're not loving this, like, I'll just say whatever I want. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
You want to know what I really think right now? Because I'll fucking tell you. You know what I mean? And, like, if they don't love, like, just to keep diving, Like, fuck it. Like,
Yeah.
just RuPaul it. Just have a good time. I don't know. I also don't have all the answers. Don't listen to me.
You're very smart though.
Yeah.
You're is smart isn't your last.
It's my real last name.
No
yeah.
shit.
I'm not that arrogant. Jesus, that would be crazy.
Well, it's a great stage name.
Thank you.
No, I mean I don't think because you're arrogant. It's like it's a great fucking stage name.
I used
it
to
rolls
do
off the tongue.
I used to do a couple shows, I guess, with this chick. I'm so sorry. Now it's Max Gross. It was different back then, but I'm not gonna their
you're
original
good.
whatever.
Yeah, no, you're good.
They are hilarious. Their name is Max Gross. I'm Trish Smart. My jokes are disgusting. Their jokes were very smart.
It's a great pairing.
It was just, I thought it was fun. They didn't, I was, I was having a shit day and a shit time when we met. I can totally understand that they're not the greatest fan of me.
Yeah.
But like I always think back when anyone's like, "Wow, are your jokes smart?" I'm like, "No, they're pretty disgusting." And then I like think about Max, and I'm like, "Oh yeah." I wonder if they deal with that too. Like, you never say anything gross.
How do you feel when you think about? I don't want to use the word dismantled or anything, but like past non-romantic relationship like that. Because I have a few of those for sure, both that were my fault and some that weren't. What do you think about? Is it something you feel like you could still repair? Is it something that you've laid to rest?
Like past romantic relationships?
No, non-romantic. Like friendships and stuff like
I'm actually fighting with this person right now that I was friends with for 20 years that freaked out and left at one of our like largest opportunities together. And my door is always open, which is horrible. It shouldn't be, like there are people who've done horrible things to me in life that I've been like, yeah, whatever, we can still be friends. Let's talk about it.
I get you.
I've never fully cut somebody off, I don't think, except for that chick that robbed me that I talked shit about earlier. I definitely fully blocked her and cut her off. But like, even people that I've like blocked, probably years later, I was like, it wasn't that bad. Like I'm someone who like reacts very passionately and then thinks about it, feels bad, and then like kind of like lets it go or like tries to apologize or comes to a place where I'm an excellent apologizer. If it's my fault, I take full credit. I say what I did wrong. I say why I'm sorry. I say what I'm going to do differently next time.
Yeah.
And if you can't handle that, like there's only so much I can do. But I recently opened the door on someone, 20 years we were friends, and then they freaked out, ruined our greatest opportunity, hits me up 2 years later to tell me that I triggered them. And that's why they freaked out, and I need to say I'm sorry. And I was like, listen, man, just because you were triggered doesn't mean I triggered you, And, like, also I was writing my book at the time, and, like, they knew because they've edited chapter, and they've read some of it and whatever in the past few years. And I was like, why would you be mean to someone who's such a good writer? And I was like, like, I'm going to come at you. And, like, I was like, I guess the next time I'll see you, it would be in court for defamation, but I have all these text messages to prove it. So, and then a couple hours later, I was like, that was a shitty thing to say, and I'm sorry. Even though, like, you don't deserve an apology.
You also could have been a lot meaner.
Yeah.
You could have been a lot worse
I
about
think that, too. I also think I'm someone who, like, smokes pot and, like, rethinks about it. You know what I mean? Like, I'll be mean, and then I'll get high, and I'll be like, oh.
I haven't smoked in, like, month and a half. I'm trying to forget when I lost my pen. Remember I lost my pen a while back, and maybe a month and a half, 2 months ago. And that for me, because I have a very, very low tolerance for fucking pot. Like, it's
which is crazy because the air in New Mexico is just filled with it. Try not to breathe out there. I don't know.
For real.
Yeah.
But that first like 15 to 20 minutes after I get high and I'm just anxiety ridden, I'm just like rethinking everything I've ever done. I'm like, okay, fuck yeah, oh fuck. Oh. And it's like, all right, we're good.
It's actually really funny because like people that are like, I can't smoke, it gives me anxiety, are usually the people I'm like, maybe it should.
Yeah,
you know what I mean?
No,
maybe you're not that good of a person.
No, I'm not adverse to it. I think
I'm not saying specifically you. I'm just saying I've met people like
that. No, but I agree.
And maybe not everyone, but a lot of them.
I wholeheartedly agree. I think that anxiety that is induced by pot or psychedelics or whatever it is, I think it's supposed to be there.
Yeah.
And it's supposed to help.
Yeah.
And if it
does
opens,
make me it makes me apologize.
Yeah, and if it opens doors for you, maybe you should not fully walk in and slam it shut, but peek your head in. See what's going on in that room.
Yeah. For real.
That's what's helped me, dude. For fuck's sake, that's what's helped me. Whew. Trish Smart, you're the shit.
Thank you. You're very fun.
This is a lot of fun, dude.
Oh, good.
We got a
I hope
show.
editing the music out is easy.
We'll be okay. Fuck it.
It sounds like you know what you're doing. Do you have one of those things where it's like a visual board of the sound and you can just grab it?
No, what I'll do is I'll isolate it. I'll run it through because Premiere has this like AI thing where it cuts out ambient noise. And then what I've noticed is like, especially with these mics, if there is even the ambient noise that we pick up, whether it's like people talking, clanking, whatever the music, it doesn't. Okay, maybe heavy bass like that will pick up, but like the music has been playing up until 15 seconds ago. Won't pick up as much as we think it does.
Cool.
So we should be pretty all right.
Cool.
I'm not too.
I admire the whole setup that you have here. It's very cool.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Before we get out of here, I'm going to see if AJ wants to hop in so he can say anything about the show.
Okay, sounds good.
Yeah, I headlined in Taos like 3-4 weeks ago.
How was it?
It was awesome.
I love it there.
There was a good amount of people. It was a different crowd
Yeah.
than what I'm used to,
Yeah.
but they all had fun. I had fun.
It's a really good show. Like when you first walk in there, you're like, "What am I doing here? Like, what
sure.
are these people? Do they want
Yeah.
comedy? Is
Were
that
you at?
real?"
Were you at the
The
burger stand?
Yeah, I've done
okay.
it twice now
Oh hell yeah,
Yeah.
it's fun. I like it
in the last few years.
for sure.
We're shouting out the burger stand.
Yeah, shout out the burger stand.
Shout out to Burger Stand.
The handsome man in the Beastie Boys shirt.
Yeah.
It's adorable.
He was telling me about his daughter earlier, and he was like, "She's awesome because I filled her head with Beastie Boys and Nintendo." Chad Rodden's amazing.
Yes. How was it? How is New Mexico?
It's been great. I love it.
Well,
I'm not.
nice.
I know that sounds sarcastic, but it's not.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
What brought you down here? Why are you
Mostly
down here?
Chad.
Just Chad.
I met Chad
Good
in
old Chad.
Nashville, and he was like making an unreal amount of biodiesel in his backyard. And then he was like, I'm going to build a off-grid comedy club. And I was like, well, this makes sense. You know what I mean?
That's right up your alley. So
no,
you're like,
but
"Fuck yeah."
there was no part of me that was like, oh, what a shocker. You know what I mean? Like it felt like the natural progression of things.
But
How long are you out here for?
Just a week.
Just a week. Hell yeah. That's fun.
Are you from here?
I was born in Lubbock, Texas,
Okay.
but I'm from New Mexico. Yeah,
Nice.
for sure.
I passed there on the way here.
Yeah.
Thought about doing a
pretty-
small town show there.
Yeah, it's not anything fun,
Yeah.
but it's cool.
That's why you should do comedy there.
Yeah,
'Cause
I
a
can't.
bunch of people will
I've
show
been
up.
trying, and I guess they don't like Mexicans.
well, after this conversation, I'm
I'll
legit-
help you.
I'm gonna look. I'm gonna because I have to drive through Lubbock, I think, or by Lubbock as I go to
For
Plano.
Plano?
Let's all do it.
so
I'm down.
fuck it. I'm gonna
Yeah.
figure out see if I can't get anything on a Friday night there.
Yeah.
I have the guy's connect, like, the guy's number that does it.
Yeah.
He
That's
just
lovely.
he just always tells me he's gonna get me on something, and then he does it.
It's okay. Honestly, though, if you're from there, you're
Yeah.
gonna sell a lot of tickets.
Exactly. All
Don't
my
give that
family
guy that
lives-
money.
Yeah.
Don't do it.
True,
Just have your
find
own
my-
bar
yeah, for
show
sure.
because you're gonna be selling all the tickets. That guy's gonna make all the money. You're gonna be like, why did I do this
You're
to
gonna-
some dude
sure.
that blows me off? You know?
You're gonna want to listen to this fucking episode, dude, because
Okay.
she got real deep into marketing and like putting
Yeah.
shows together.
Okay.
And
Yeah.
there's
Sure.
some, we'll talk about it after the show tonight.
Oh
Honestly,
yeah, I had some suggestions.
because we've
Okay.
good fucking suggestions how to make our shows
sure.
better, dude.
Yes, I'm.
Or just make
100%.
more money.
Yeah.
I'm
The
open
key
to-
is that
I'm
if
open to
somebody
all of
wants
it.
to spend more, let them. You know?
Yeah, for sure.
But like that shit about Google and
Yeah.
just
There's a whole.
Yeah, I don't know
Gold.
any of that shit.
Yeah.
golden.
It takes time.
And that's why, like, we either have 100 people here sometimes, or we have 3.
Yeah, that's okay.
It just depends.
Whatever.
I meant to bring this up earlier, but we were talking about barking for a bit. What was it? 3 weeks ago we were up here. 4 weeks ago we were up here, and there was like maybe 2 people, and we were like, you know what, fuck this shit. And we went downstairs, and there was nobody in the outdoor area, but there were people down in like the restaurant area downstairs. And we were just like, we're just gonna talk to them. There's probably like 15 people, no, 20
Yeah,
people. We were like
yeah,
15
for
up
sure.
here just by talking to them and
Downstairs.
asking
Oh,
them.
that's another thing I didn't mention. Venue posters are really important inside the venue, and the bathroom.
The bathroom.
The bathroom
Yeah.
when someone sits
While people are taking-
down.
yeah.
Yes,
Yep.
that's the place where they're like actually reading the shit.
Yeah.
For sure.
And it's important. Also, another thing I didn't mention is that it's important that when you do a poster, if it falls on the ground and someone puts their foot on it, can they tell the date, time, and where? Can they tell what it is in that second that they look at it, or is it too artsy and you don't know? You know what I mean? Like
That's
that's
what I'm fucking saying.
that's
dude.
like the kind of shit that you want to be like, oh, someone saw my shit on the ground and was like, comedy show is the biggest thing on there, and if they
Right.
want it, they're gonna pick it up.
It's good to hear that from, like, someone that is more successful, because I've had
debatable.
I've had Benton say some shit like that, and I'm like, dude, I'm not listening to
Yeah.
you, bro.
Okay, so I'll give you a little backstory
that
on that.
makes a
So
lot
there's a
of
guy in
sense.
town,
Uh-huh.
notoriously one of, if not the worst comedian in New Mexico or the Southwest has to offer.
I bet
But-
his marketing's amazing.
But the fucking
It is.
dude knows how to market. He knows how to produce. Get
Just
people in
copy
They
the
it.
sell out a
show.
show somehow.
He just needs to stay.
I bet he has a
behind
strong
the-
email list.
Yes.
Okay, so here's
How
another
do you
thing.
even do that?
Here's another thing. Okay, so if somebody buys tickets off you, it's most likely that the platform is keeping their emails and you have access to
sure.
it.
Yeah.
If someone doesn't, you could also offer them like incentives, a raffle to sign up with your email, you know, and then you give away like raffle stuff or whatever you can to get these people email. When you get their email, send a minute clip. But I don't care if it's a reel or whatever. It's not a link. It's a clip. And there's
Yeah.
certain email softwares that'll let you do this. What this does is gives people the incentive to share your email. And if you sounds like you guys got a bunch of shows going on, you should do a
sure.
newsletter rather than just one show.
Yeah.
And you start with a clip. This is who's featuring this week. blah, 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 blah. Man, this is a really good minute video. I'm going to share it with my friends. We want to go see this guy.
Do we have the email list from the Ben Roy show?
Yeah, I
You can
have all
still
that.
you can
Boom.
still
I
get
have
it.
I have it all in the
Like, do you guys use like Eventbrite
Hold
or
my
what? do you-
ticket.
Eventbrite and Hold My Ticket.
So on Eventbrite, you can definitely extract the email list.
Okay.
There is definitely a way to do it. Hold My Ticket, you can as well.
For sure.
It'll be like a CV. They'll make it hard. Just get YouTube to tell you how to do it, whatever. And then make an email list. Pay for the thing that lets you put a video in it because it's so worth it. And also the thing that lets you add this to my Google Calendar. Add this to my Apple Calendar. That make the buttons just really easy for them to show up.
What platform do you use to do your mailing list?
To do I don't do it anymore.
Okay.
Because I do it if I have a consistent show in a
Okay, so
consistent
when you
area,
do-
but because I'm like, traveling so
Yeah,
much,
yeah, for sure.
I don't utilize it as much. I think I used to use Chimp Mail. What the
Okay.
fuck is that?
We'll figure it out.
Yeah, there's a bunch of different ones.
Yeah.
They change all the time, and their prices, and when they're good, they're more expensive. You know what I mean? But just find one that lets you put a video in it. That's
yeah.
all you really need.
For sure.
We just sit down and work, dude.
And
I know.
I mean, it's really not that. You guys are doing great. First of all, you're doing a fantastic job. You have a show tonight. Like this.
yeah.
That's all anyone
we're
can really.
trying,
Like
we're
you're doing
trying.
amazing. Like you have a podcast. You have consistent things going on. A lot of people can't keep up with shit.
For sure.
So like, please pat yourself on the back and don't be like, we have so much to do. Like you did a lot.
But there is work to do.
Yeah, there's always work to do.
There's work to do. All
There's,
right,
there's a lot of things I need to do.
let's have a fucking great show tonight.
Yeah.
Trish, you're awesome. Thank you
Yeah,
again for
it was
doing
nice
this.
to meet you.
Yeah, for
For
sure.
sure.
Yeah. Appreciate you guys
this
for having
rocket.
me.
This will be out in about 3 weeks, I want to say. Upcoming shows.
Yeah.
Do you have any?
In 3 weeks, I don't know what it'll be.
And where can people find your stuff?
Oh, please visit IHateTrishSmart.com. Or you can go to TrishSmart.com, but it just forwards to IHateTrishSmart.com. And from there, you can find my Patreon, YouTube, Instagram.
And what's your Instagram handle?
Smart_Trish. It's my real last name. I'm not arrogant. And yeah, just go to IHateTrishSmart.com. You'll find everything you've ever been looking for.
Sick. Well, thank you
Hell
again for
yeah.
doing this.
Yeah,
It's
thank
a lot
you.
of fun.
Yeah, appreciate it.
AJ, good to see you, buddy, as always.
Good to see you too, man.
And let's have a great fucking
I
show.
appreciate you guys having
let's
me.
do
You
it.
know,
Of
we've never
course.
met. You kind of like took a little risk on that. You're like, she looks fun online.
Yeah, for sure.
You have
This is
legit.
gonna be fun. Yeah.
I do want to wrap this up. Like you legit have. I love watching Kill Tonys. It's fun, but like I love watching the moments where people like succeed and do well, and then they get like extra bonuses tacked on. Whether it's a fucking secret show or it's a whatever, but like your moment with Adam Ray is fucking heartwarming.
Yeah.
sure.
So it's a lot of
For
fun.
sure.
It's good.
And
to
then I
meet you
ruin it
person.
in the second episode.
Yeah. Hey.
Which is actually like slightly out of context.
Yeah.
I took in a dog because he was getting a place in a couple days, and the dog was really sweet. Whatever, it doesn't matter. I love that happened.
Yeah.
I love
was
that
great.
I burned it that way.
Yeah. It was fucking great. Yeah. No. But yeah, this has been awesome. Thank you everyone for listening.
Did you
and
let them
watching.
know we'll be in Austin?
Oh
at the end of the month?
by the time this comes out, we'll be back from Austin.
Okay, so then never mind.
So hey,
Fuck
no,
you
yeah,
guys.
we were in Austin like last week, and all of our shows went well. We crushed every
Yeah.
single one of them, no
And
matter
they
what
asked
you
me-
heard.
And somehow I snuck onto a mothership showcase.
And he doesn't sneak anywhere. Have you seen the guy?
It's pretty hard to miss.
Yeah.
him,
Also, if you want to get on any show in Austin, you just need to bark.
for
Except
sure.
for the mothership, obviously. But
I'll fucking scream.
if you want to get on, just go to just find the person who's hosting it,
Yeah.
and be like, "Yo, can I bark for the
I
show?"
will literally
They'll
bark my way on a secret show. I
They'll
don't
put
give
you
a fuck.
anybody on. Yeah, you
Yes.
could definitely bark your way to secret show.
Yes.
I think-
You really
yeah.
can
I
because it
think it'll
goes
be
on
s-
all night, and people leave. They need people to come back in.
Yep.
You know?
It'll be super easy. I
I
think.
barked
just
on secret show.
Dude.
I did 15 minutes and crushed.
Hell yeah!
yeah.
That's awesome.
Peace.
Peace, everybody. Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
We'll see you next time. Bye bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of the podcast. If you like what you've seen here, please share it with as many people as possible. Follow us on YouTube, Spotify, Instagram, Facebook, Apple Podcasts. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. It really does help out the podcast. And if you're feeling extra generous, feel free to subscribe to our Patreon, which I have coming soon.